Okay, here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome back to Truth Quest. My name is Aaron Moriarity. I will be your host, and we're going to go on a quest for truth together. Yes, we are, folks, and happy Memorial Day to you all. And I want to pay my respects to all of the service members that did not come home. We do not know them all, but we owe them all to live in this free country as we do. And so welcome, and we're going to talk about disclosure. We're going to talk about lots of things, anything you all want to talk about. And you're certainly welcome to phone in. We've got this thing coming possibly tomorrow from that thing where they're going to dump some disclosure. I'm just sending this out. And there we go. Send that out there like that. And we'll put the chat. Hello, Mud Rabbit. Hey, Jerry. So good to see you, fam. It's so nice. Thank you for being here. Yes. There's a song that's on my YouTube channel, and it was written by a friend of mine who was in the service, who I just found out passed away a couple years ago. And it's called Honor, Stars and Stripes. And of course, it was instantly demonetized. I don't know why, because it's a patriotic song, but it's, check it out. We might be playing that here on the show. Maybe you've heard it. It's a pretty cool song. Honor the Stars and Stripes. What's up, Aaron? Hi, Gino. Hi, Dark Brain. Good to see you all here. Wow. The whole fam. I feel like this is our little family here, our growing family. Isn't this wonderful? Hello, Ryan, our Cloaked Unseen World. Check him out. Subscribe to his channel. And yep, the whole gang is here. How do you like that? How do you like that? That's fantastic. You know, I'm in an effort to continue to grow technologically. I'm going to try putting a little background music, and tell me if this is just too loud or if you can't hear it. Is that too loud? Just a little something so it's not, nothing. What do you say? Alrighty then. Did I put the link in the, no, I didn't. Okay, so let me do that. I think I have to do this, then I have to trim it down. Okay, get rid of all that. And that should do it. Get somebody in there in the queue, and we'll talk about this disclosure that's either happening or not happening. I want to recommend a movie for y'all if you haven't seen it. It's a really good movie. Whoa, look, it's the green on there. Look at that. Capturing the Light, 30,000 feet of proof. And it's a documentary by Frank Longo, who I interviewed years ago. And it's the true story of Dorothy Izat. So it's amazing. She's got all this footage since the 70s. She's been just compiling it, and fabulous movie. I had my granddaughter here, and we were recorded a small little segment where she was showing her favorite toys, the Super Cubes, which, yes, Grandpa Aaron invented. And the green ones, though, she was pretty intrigued by those because, they seem to erase things, or see through things. So it's kind of cool. Normal ones don't, but they're square Super Balls, guaranteed to bounce different every time you your money back. And there you go. It'll keep you busy for hours. Hours of enjoyable, wholesome fun with the Super Cube, the bouncing sensation. Super Cube, it's sweeping the nation. Yes. Everyone, both young and old, are going cube crazy, I am told. You'll play a game or just watch it go. Where it bounces, nobody knows. Super Cube, I'm telling you all. Super Cube, it's a ball. Yes. Our balls have an edge. Look at that. And they can be see-through when they're the right color. Very well. Enough of that stuff. And cats and dogs love these things too, because you never know where it's going to go. And they're really kind of fun. So I'm glad my granddaughter likes them. My son liked them, and my daughter liked them, and now my granddaughter likes them. So that's good enough for me, And let's go back and check the chat here. David Murphy, that's you? Oh, wow. I did not know that. Interesting. Huh. Wow. Well, you never know. Everybody has these personas. When I did Elvis shows, and well, you know what? Let me show you one of my backgrounds. I'm trying to get a background to do little videos for my Elvis shows. And what do you think about this one? What do you think about that one? So with the arched letters above me, that's me in Memphis. And the other one is actually the very first professional photograph I ever had taken of me in the Elvis suit. A long time ago. Way, 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 way back. Way, way before the turn of the century. So that's kind of a fun little thing that you can switch backgrounds, whatnot. And here's now these are spaceships. Most of them, except for the saucer, are ones designed by William Tompkins. Actually, no, the cylinder one was the one described by Corey Good, but the other two are William Tompkins designs. Very cool. So I did little versions of those. What do you think about this background? You like that? I don't know. It's kind of funky, huh? Yeah, you like that? I don't know. I can't tell. This one's kind of cool. I kind of dig this one. But there's something kind of cool about the old spaceship. It's like you're riding along in a spaceship. Feels like you're riding along, doesn't it? So I get to stick with this. Standby. All righty then. Now, they're going to tell us something tomorrow. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be, in the coming week or so. They're going to be releasing this stuff or some information. But no matter what they release, we know that, what do we know? We know that there's more. Tell us more. Okay. Oh, you don't think that they're Chinese or Russian or Japanese? You think that might be extra? Really? 70 years, and that's all you're gonna really? I think it's gonna be more than that, though. I think we're gonna be surprised, only because Trump is behind it, and he always does things a little bit more spectacular than most. So we'll see. You know, I hope some revelations come. I hope some technologies get released, and you know, that would be a fantastic thing. June 25th. Oh no, I heard it was as soon as June 1st. But you know, maybe that's just wishful thinking. But 25th. Oh man, we'll be biting our nails, won't we? We'll be biting our nails. Let's see. Oh my goodness, our cloaked unseen world. Thank you very much for your donation. Have I applied to be on Foxhole yet? No, you know, I went on there a couple times to apply, and I just, for some reason, I just haven't gotten there yet. I also almost signed up to Rumble, you know. Okay, let's see. Tara says I'm single too, but way down in Texas. Well, Texas, they got the best toast. You got to say. I mean, of all the states, who's got the best toast? Texas. Yeah. 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 Whenever I'm asked if I'm single, I tell them, you know what? I wasn't born a twin. I wasn't born a twin. As far as I know, I'm a single. Just one of me. Thank goodness, right? Hey, Jacob, how you doing? Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay on the chat, just so you know. Yeah. Oh, you think, okay, so Jerry says, I expect Antarctica as the highlight of the real info. That could be, yeah. They've been preparing that. I mean, they've cleaned all the alien stuff out, and I think they even shipped in some Egyptian stuff just to shove in there, or shove in the ice. You know, oh, look what we found. More of the cabal. What do you call it? Whatever. I'd move to Texas, Aaron. Yeah, Texas would be good. But, you know, they got those rattlesnakes. I guess you just grab them and make instant socks out of them, right? You just pull it up like a sock, put your foot in before he has a chance to swallow, and you get a new pair of snakeskin socks. Maybe a couple puncture wounds, but who cares, right? Small price to pay for cool socks. No, you don't want to hurt an animal like that, but damn, a snake. Yeah. If I moved to Texas, I'd probably be eating that Texas toast, you know. They have a lot of freedom over there too. That's pretty good. They're dishing out that freedom. Any place that's dishing out the freedom is a good place to be. You know, Florida, you can get fluoridated there. Texas, you can get good toast. There's lots of reasons to. I'm living in here in Door County, and you know, it's people come here from a long ways away. I don't really understand it. I personally, I grew up in a much cooler area. In my opinion, Lake Minnetonka. But I think whenever you're growing up, that's what that's kind of what sticks. You know, it's the home thing, right? I got to say that by going into the store, you know, I've always never worn a mask, you know, ever. Except for my Invisimask. And it's so nice now to see in the stores, half the people, or more than half, they're not wearing the visible masks anymore, because they must have realized that they have the Invisimask. So that's a good thing. I'm glad that was such a success. You know, I've had a lot of people really thank me for that, inventing that, changing the world really with that Invisimask. So, you know, it's the least I could do. Could have made a million, but you know, I'd rather chat with you guys than make a million out of that, right? Minnetonka. Well, no, Minnetonka. Well, so Prince did party on Lake Minnetonka when he was younger, and you know, I might have actually run across him because we used to party out there all the time. So um, that's weird to think about. But the first time I realized I met Prince was I was it was right around the time when Little Red Corvette had just come out, and Prince was really starting to hit it. He was knocking it out. And I was at First Avenue in downtown Minneapolis. And I was in the bathroom and I'm like, you know, fixing my hair or something like that in the mirror, like a little sink in the mirror, a couple of sinks, 3 or 4 sinks. And in walks this guy. He's got a purple trench coat and he's got these little studs, these, you know, like metal studs, like just on one shoulder, or I can't remember which side it was. But he was very short and he came right up next to me in the mirror next to me. He looks over at me and he gives me the cool nod and I give him the cool look, and he fixes his hair a little bit. And I'm thinking to myself, who's this short guy trying to look like Prince? Because at this point, I didn't know he was short. I didn't know he wasn't, because I thought he was tall. I mean, everyone I knew thought he was tall because all of his photographs were taken like he's standing way in front of the band. And so he looks taller and he's got that long neck. So he has a tall feeling about him. But yeah, it was him. And that's not the first time, that's not the only time I saw him. I saw him quite a few times. One time I saw him, it was again at First Avenue. And if you've ever been to First Avenue, there's a place called 7th Street Entry. And that's kind of like where it's like a smaller part of it where like more of the up and coming bands might play. So he was hanging out in there. And I said, "Good evening, Your Majesty." And he nodded and thanked me. And then when this was all in Minneapolis, I've seen him lots of times there. And I almost was in a Prince video. But thankfully I was not chosen. Originally I wanted to be chosen. He was looking for an Elvis, and the lookalikes place I was working for, they had 13 Elvises, and I was getting like 80 to 90% of the Elvis work, and he didn't want, he wanted the overweight Elvis, so he picked another guy I know, and I'm glad it wasn't me. So, are we live? Yeah, we're live. We're live. Yeah. And let me put the Zoom thing into there again. Let's see. I gotta get rid of that. Okay. Get rid of that. Uh-oh, I gotta get rid of more. Maybe that'll work. See if that works. If anyone wants to call in and give you your guess of what they're going to disclose, if it's going to be, oh, yes, we admit there have been things on radar and, you know, seen by credible pilots and generals, and yeah, we have no explanation for it. If that's all they're going to do, I'm sorry, but we have to demand full disclosure. Full. We've been waiting like, what, 70 years? Patience is running a little thin. We're really getting anxious, you know. We're you know, yeah, we want to, you know, meet our galactic family and everything else like that. And that background music you hear playing, it's Magic Garage Band kind of preset little things that you can rearrange. So that's what I did. So we got a little our own personal music playing. Okay, is that music too loud, folks? Why don't you give me a 1 if it's too loud, 2 if it's okay. 1 if it's too loud, 2 if it's okay. 1 if it's too loud, music is too loud. 2 if its sound is okay. I have no way of telling from here. We're going to get the 10-cent disclosure. You think that, Jacob? Yeah. Well, but Trump was the initiator of it. So I can't have to think. There was a little Post-it note from Trump saying, now don't let me down and don't let the people down. Get as much of this stuff out. And he probably has like a list. As many of these as you can get out and get this to the public so we can imagine where we'd be if we just knew what we've done. I mean, it's still the 70s. Not too loud. Okay, 2, 2, 2. And 2 means sounds okay. Oh, good. Good. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for hanging out. All right. I can barely hear it at all. You want me to turn it up a little bit? Oh my goodness. There, it's a little bit higher now. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, because when there's nothing, it's kind of like tough, isn't it? Yeah. Hello, Paul. How you doing out there? Teresa, Messenger, Jerry, Dark Brain, Tara, Gino. Yeah, the disclosure will be some more old footage they've been feeding us. Yeah, like fuzzy footage that, I mean, I don't know. If you watch some of my early videos, I guess I still have ongoing a hoax contest. So if you make a video of a hoax, send it in. Maybe you could win my game, Tetragon 2. So that'd be kind of fun. As far as books go, this is the book I recommend to you, Selective Extraterrestrials by William Mills Tompkins. It's a great book. Talk about it a lot on my show. Here he is, an American truth hero, William Mills Tompkins. And he actually got the Navy's permission to let all of this out, all of this stuff. Like, that's not just how many pages? It's like 400 and some pages. All right. And this is like one of my favorite pictures. This is a sketch he did. William Tompkins, he helped get us to the moon. So if you don't think we made it to the moon, read this book and you'll understand we made it to the moon and you'll understand how. But now he designed not only the buildings that the rockets were built in, the way the rockets were built, he also built the observation room where the scientists saw all the information coming in, all the Apollo mission control stuff. And he also designed a secret underground much smaller observation room for he and a few other of the top people in the program, in the Apollo program. By the way, the Apollo program was not just going to the moon, getting some rocks and coming back. It was going to the moon, sending up Nova truck rockets with gigantic equipment, earth boring equipment, and building out an underground base on the moon, and then going out from there into the solar system and into the universe. It was a very bold plan. And the public was never made aware of the full Apollo plan. And so when he was down there, there was, I've talked about this before, but there was 2 minutes missing. And I remember watching the moon landing. When they landed on the moon first time, there was 2 minutes missing. Everyone thought, oh my God, they're dead. All the oxygen came out, or, space monsters killed them, whatever. But the ham radio operators caught it, the audio. So we've had the audio, and it's something like this. I'm going by memory. Sir, they're huge. I'm telling you, we're not alone here. They're on the edge of the crater watching us. Sir, they're huge. We know. Turn the camera away. Stop talking about it. Turn the camera away. Stop talking about it. And then they went back to the normal thing. This is what they saw. And this is his sketch, because he was there. He saw it. Those are the giant craft lined up on the edge of the crater that was witnessed by he and the other top people in the space program. Excuse me. So fascinating. We should have known that. That should not have, because they got the feed before the public got it. And they decided, oh, well, let's not show them this amazing discovery of other life, or us from the future, or inner Earth people, or whatever, reptilians. I don't know what kind of craft those things are. Maybe it's secret space program. We don't know. I just don't know. I'm so tired of Roswell and Nick Pope still yapping about Rendlesham Forest. Yeah, right? They're going to milk that one to death. I mean, so anyone not talking about something new, well, I guess that would be me too. I better watch what I say. Yeah, the old stories. And there's so many stories. That's the thing. When I first got into this years ago, I thought, oh, okay, well, it's Roswell and a couple others. Holy crap, there's 20 more. Oh, there's 30 more. There's 40 more. Oh my gosh, do I have a book written by Bashago? No, I don't. There are books written by Bashago. He was a ghostwriter. He wrote for lots of other people, including Jim Mars. I think he wrote some of his books. So yeah, you could read some of his books, but he's going to be coming out, and back in the 70s, his dad showed him his book, and I think someone else in the program and his dad showed him his book. So he knows what it looks like, he knows what fonts to use. That would be so interesting to know, okay, well, I guess I'm going to write this book, 300 chapters. Whoa. I mean, that's a big book, right? I mean, he's got like 6 books, maybe a dozen books that he's going to be putting out. And, I don't know this for sure, but I think that he probably hasn't written it yet because he really wants people to understand that this is true. I mean, it's real. And he's not in this for the money. If he was in it for the money, he would have had his book done, decades ago, right? I mean, he knew he was going to write it. So he just, no one can accuse him of being in this for the money, because he doesn't have his book out yet. And when he does get his book out, and I hope he does sell a ton of them, I know I'm going to buy way more than one, because I'm going to give them to all my family and friends, and And because I think we're rewriting history here. Andy's rewriting history and, righting a wrong that was done to us by the defense technical community by keeping this all quiet. Some people in the advanced technical community, they wanted this stuff out, like Andrew's dad, he wanted it out. But, I think when the military mind is in too much control of something, they're very paranoid and they don't want to give anything up. I mean, even back in caveman times, if one tribe had a new, cooler way of a simpler, more effective way of making a more accurate arrow, they might not want those arrows to be falling into the wrong hands. They might go after a little skirmish and get their arrows back. Same kind of thing. But I just think that can't be the only thing. Otherwise, only the military would have vehicles. Everyone else would be like horses and carriages, and you'd see, military trucks going by. You have to open it up to open up the technologies so that society can advance itself, and our grandkids can actually have a vibrant, cool future with very, very interesting things happening, like that should have been happening. Kent Stedman died 12 years ago, but he left a whole lot of info online. I'd never heard of him. I'll have to look him up. That's sad that he's gone. But, no one's ever gone for good, because, your spirit, your soul goes on forever and is... The way it's described is, for an immortal spiritual being, that's what animates us. That's what is the essence of all things that we call life. There's no beginning and no end for an immortal spiritual being, just an everlasting now. And so we're experiencing life in these bodies, but it's only a small part of our true inner self. Just bookmark the page. Okay, Mud Rabbit. I like that name, Mud Rabbit. Hey, Terry. Subway in New York, Mardi Gras, if you done any of, they're already here. Oh, okay. So you're saying that the aliens are already here because they're in Mardi Gras? Well, I have negative blood. I have Rh negative blood. So some people think I'm a alien. Who knows, right? When someone says they don't believe in aliens, you know what I tell them? I say, you know what? To aliens, we are the aliens. So if you don't believe in aliens, you don't believe in yourself. So believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. So, yeah, if you want to know more about the immortal spiritual being that's inside of us, I recommend this book. It's Alien Interview by Lawrence Spencer. It's about this Army airfield nurse, Matilda O'Donnell McElroy, or McElroy. And it's just a fascinating book. It's a fascinating book. Apparently, she sent all these papers from the original interview from the sole survivor of the Roswell crash of one of the vehicles at Roswell that crashed. Errol was the name of this creature, this being. it inhabited a dull body, like it had some kind of mechanism, or it wasn't a flesh body. So this race of, I assume they're Greys or something like that, they learned how to have their soul inhabit these kind of robot doll bodies. And the pilot engineer was the highest rank on the craft. And that's why the other two were flesh body beings, and they were lower ranks, and their bodies did not survive the crash, and they perished. So yeah, it's a very interesting story. There's no way to validate it because he burned all the papers instead of keeping them for evidence. So you're left thinking, okay, is it true? I mean, why did he do that? Because Matilda said, you might get killed from this information. And supposedly she wrote in there that she thought he should, send it out in fiction form. That way they wouldn't be able to kill you for it. And so, but he decided to just print it as is. He copied it word for word. And then he spent a couple years researching it. And in the back of the book, a very large part of the book is his footnotes of researching all the things that Errol was talking about, and did the best that he could to verify these different things that Errol was talking about in 1947. It's absolutely fascinating book. There should really be a movie about this. It's really something else. Oh yeah, take attention away from the big steel. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, disclosure. Well, we always knew it was going to be something they dropped, but this was put into motion by Trump. So this isn't necessarily not brought upon by the powers that were, or that are about to not be, but they'll certainly use it, right? Yeah, they'll take advantage of it. Okay, oh, they dealt us this curveball. Let's see what we can do with it. You're absolutely right. Look here, not there. That's right. That's right. Yes, absolutely. So is anyone going to call in and talk about disclosure? I hope that they do mention something about alien life, and that there is some evidence of alien life. I mean, we really need to hear that. It'd be nice if they rolled out the TR3B. Oh yeah, we got this. Yeah, we know. We should have told you before. Here's some ice cream. No, that's what Joe would do. Yeah. And it's a shame that it's happening during this administration, because it's such an undeserving president to have anything cool happen. I mean, but no matter what it is, we have to demand more. Okay, thank you for that. More. Okay. It's like, okay, the ice cream truck comes, you get one piece of ice cream, you're done with it. More, please. All right. Let's keep dealing that info out until we're like totally up to speed. Let's move it. All right. I mean, look, for God's sakes, gosh sakes, look what Andy's talking about. For 50 years, 50 years ago, he experienced these, amazing technologies that nobody knows about except the people who listen to this stuff, which really are in the millions, I think. A lot of people do hear this stuff, and he's certainly done lots of shows. He's so eloquent in his speaking, and he knows all the details. And even being blind, you know, on our last show, and I'm editing that. If you're wondering where it is, I'm editing that still. And we just got a couple more things to tweak, edit out of it or into it or whatever. And we'll get that up shortly. And so I wanted to do this show too, to say hey to y'all. Great minds think alike, or birds of a feather. Okay, Diane. Hi, Diane. How you doing? In RH negative Pisces, you know, I'm in Aries, but you know, I'd always read those darn horoscopes, and sometimes it kind of matched, and sometimes I was like, what? And then I found out about this thing of being on the cusp. So I'm on the cusp with Pisces. So it's kind of a weird dichotomy of because they're completely opposite. But now I just read both and go, oh, okay, I'll take some from this and some from this, you know, mix it together like a salad. And that's what it is. RH negative Pisces. So I'm AB negative. So, and I remember when I found out that I was in school, we did this in school, you know, science. We had a great science teacher. And I was so upset that I was negative because I always thought of myself as being very positive. You know, I didn't really understand what that really meant. And, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean alien. It might mean Neanderthal. And Neanderthal doesn't necessarily mean subhuman, because the Neanderthals actually had a bigger brain and they had language and everything, and they were no slouches, you know. I think that they got a little tripped up on trigonometry, but you know, other than that, I think they were pretty good to go. You know, cave paintings and everything. Oh, you have 2 sightings and an angel stories to share someday? Well, today is someday. Hello. Call in. The lines are open, buddy. MTMONESF. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. Mount Monis. I don't know. Yeah, call in. I'd love to hear it. Angel story. Cro-Magnon, actually from Atlantis. Oh, huh. Yeah. That's why, you know, with the chronovisor, we could find out all this stuff, you know? We could find out all this stuff. Wouldn't that be cool? The chronovisor, man, you could just see things, see the past, you know? Plus, you'd never go to jail for something you didn't do because they could see that you didn't do it or that you did do it. Because I think there's a lot of people in jail who are innocent, you know. I spent the night in jail completely innocent. They had no reason to put me in there. And actually, you know, I was threatened to be thrown in jail for life for my cable access show, the UFO show here in Sturgeon Bay back in the early 90s. And the chief of police called me up and he was yelling at me. Listen, Moriarty, you stop that show of yours. I'm going to throw you in jail. I'm throwing you in jail, throw you the key, no one will ever know where you are. He's screaming. I got to be quiet because my daughter's downstairs. But yeah, and I was only like a block and a half from the police station. So I didn't get any sleep for like a week. Nightmares about that, you know. So they wouldn't play any more of my show. I mean, I had people coming up from Green Bay to watch it. A lot of people up here saw big UFO back in the 50s over the highway. It was miles long, apparently, up between Sturgeon Bay and Fish Creek. And it was actually seen by two people in both cities at the same time. It's huge. They're not close, those places. So yeah, but no one wanted to come on my show to talk about it, but they called in. It was a live call-in show on cable access. And the city didn't like that. Chief of police didn't like it. He was going to throw me in jail, throw away the key. Can you believe it? I mean, was that just an idle threat? I don't want to test that, but in subsequent years, he has passed away. Or, like I like to say, he's returned to his home planet. I don't know where that is, but thank goodness he didn't do that to me for having a cable access show about UFOs. Come on. This is America. America. It's America. You know what, folks? What I want to do is I want to play this video for you because it's a very patriotic video. And it was done by a friend of mine who, you know, was in the service. And he passed away a couple of years ago. And very sad, very, very sad. But so I want to play this in honor of his memory, and obviously because of the day that it is, Memorial Day. Okay, we're getting there, folks. All right. Okay. All right, now we gotta do the screen sharing again. Okay, we're getting around to it here, folks. Okay. I'm gonna share that. I'm gonna turn off the music. All right. All right, are you ready? This is the song. I hope you all could see it. All right, here it goes. I hope you enjoy it. Honor the stars and stripes. So many people died to keep the world free. They died for you and me. We live in the best country. It keeps us living in peace. We are a sign of hope to everyone who knows will come and save your ass. If evil gets too bad, honor the stars and stripes. So many people died to keep the world free. They died for you and me. We'll send our best troops to go and fight for me and you. When those towers hit the ground,
It made the saddest sound. We were under attack, and now we're fighting back. Honor the stars and stripes. So many people died to keep the world free. They died for you and me. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Do honor the stars and stripes. So many people died to keep the world free. They died for you and me. Honor the stars and stripes. So many people died to keep the world free. They died for you and me.
And that was it. What did you think of that, folks? Was that okay? I hope, let me check the old chat. Where is it? Oh, over here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great piece he did there. Zoom link again. Okay. Trim it down here. See if that works. Is it a link? I hope it works. Let's see if anyone's in here. We got an open queue, so dial in at will here, and we'll get your opinions on things. Another one of my favorite books is, and I wish I had my original copy, which has a different cover on it, but it's the same book, The Day After Roswell, by Colonel Phillip J. Corso. And you know what's amazing about this book is in the back, he declassified himself all of these top secret documents to prove his story. He had clearance to do that, and he did it. He did it, the whole back of the book. You know, it's pretty darn cool. It's like, here's the Lunar Communications Net. You see that? What's the date on there? (1959). They're planning all these moon missions, and look at this, the logistics of where the satellites need to be to communicate. They had to think all of this stuff out, and they were in these think tanks, you know? And so they were working on stuff like this. And the general public had no idea at all. Here's the Saturn rocket. So all like very interesting stuff. Shows the size of the rockets here. Huge, huge. And the trajectory they had to go, they had to like loop around the Earth to get, you know, to use the gravitational force to kind of swing them out there at a faster rate of speed. It's just absolutely fascinating. Here's Project Horizon. Outpost on the moon in late 1963. It's a drawing of what they had hoped, or what they were planning, or what they maybe actually did. You know, they did all this planning. Did they do it? I mean, why would they not, right? They did all the planning. They built all the rockets. Did they do it? That's the question. And how much did they do? Dark Brain. There he is. Well, good to see you, Dark Brain. How you doing? Why would they not, right? They know planning. They built all the rockets.
Do you want to mute that?
Oh, they do. Stream up in the back there. All right. Did they do? Dark Brain. There he is. Sounds like you're listening.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah. Sounds like you're listening to an interesting show. Maybe I should turn this off and turn that one on. What is it? Just kidding.
No, I'll catch the replay.
Yeah. So you can't see it right now? But
No, I've got you. I've got my friends streaming to TV, and I've got you on the Zoom. So I've got audio and video in two places.
Okay, that's confusing. Well, thank you so much for. I think you're like my lone mod, aren't you? You're like doing the work of 20 people. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I am. I know Wheezy Girl is a mod on here. She's sure great, but I haven't seen her in a while.
I know. You know, why does she call herself Wheezy Girl? Does she have asthma?
I've always wondered that. I know her real name, but it's not anything close to that.
Oh, really? She just seems like a very sweet gal. A very sweet. And I think that she's just spread herself too thin. You know, I think when people like Red Pill went to all these different platforms for a mod, I think it's like doubling and tripling the workload, right? Because you got all these different platforms to kind of like focus on, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she mods for a lot of channels, and then it was across probably 4 different platforms at least. Yeah, I think she ended up having to knock a few of those down. And I know Debbie Roush is another amazing mod that is she's on sometimes 5 different channels, or 5 different channels across probably 4 platforms. She'll have 12 mod duties at once. It's more than I could ever do.
Wow. Talk about multitasking. You know, that's the difference between a woman and a man. I mean, the only way I can multitask is I can take out 2 bags of garbage at the same time. That's pretty much it. Excuse me, but some of these people, I mean, they're typing with their toes and their fingers. And, you know, my first business partner, John Goodell, was somewhat of a Renaissance man. He had over 200 patents to his name, including the robotic arm. He invented a robotic arm. It's a very interesting character. And I'd like to get maybe one of his kids on to talk about him, because he had a very colorful life. He made a movie called Always a New Beginning, and it was up for an Academy Award when it was out. It's a documentary.
Whoa.
It was about birth, about giving birth, and always a new beginning. And he was the first one to film a gorilla giving birth, and they give birth standing up. They squat and they give birth, which is probably the way we're supposed to do it, you know. But
yeah, that's a scary prospect.
yeah. So what's new in Dark Brain's world? How did you have a good Memorial Day?
Oh, it was a nice Memorial Day weekend. I spent the whole weekend watching the Forgotten Country Patriot Roundup in Dallas.
Oh, I still haven't seen that yet, man.
Yeah, it's worth watching the replays on that. It's really something.
Yeah, someone gave me the link, and I have to go check that out. Maybe you gave me that link.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, it was you, wasn't it? Yeah, yeah. It's so. Yeah, woke societies is good. He's a good guy. I like his setup there. I also like Frank. Quite frankly, he's a pretty cool guy.
Quite
You know,
frankly, he's quite the show.
yeah, it is. It's a network. I mean, it's kind of fun to listen to him talking, reminiscing about the first days of starting that. And I can sort of relate because when I did cable access, it was kind of that way too. And we had one show that we were trying to get more of an audience for. You know, our cable channel was in Mound, Minnesota, and you know we had about 10 or 11,000 population there, maybe like 9,000 with cable. You know, but what we did was we made copies of our videotapes and we went to different communities and we got our show into other cable access shows closer into Minneapolis and throughout Minneapolis. So we had a potential audience of 3 million people for our cable access show. And
Whoa.
that show actually went to a mainstream show in the Minneapolis area. However, they changed the name of it. It was after I left, so I had even though the show was my idea and I named it and everything, it just kind of like fell apart. And so it was called XTV, Extreme Television, Minnesota's only music video showcase. It was kind of like MTV with VJ and screaming graphics, and he would just introduce the songs and we'd have videos, rock videos, you know, from Minnesota artists. And it was great. It was great. But then they went mainstream and they called it Video Nation, and it didn't really spark, and it lost a lot of its funness that we had. So
Probably just cookie cutter artist videos, all the mainstream stuff at that point. It's only fun if it's got the local, unique stuff you'd never hear anywhere else.
yeah, in fact, I just contacted a guy from back in those days, and I got to have him on my show. His name is Bob Connolly, and he had a show called Got My Own Show. And it was so funny because this show was like, and here's TV's Bob Connolly in Got My Own Show. So he's TV's Bob Connolly because he has a cable access show. So funny. But he did like a straight talk show. He did like a talk show, but he was funny as heck. I think I've told this story before on the show, but so funny. He called up like this country kitchen, and there was this town where there's a couple country kitchens, like one at one end of the town and one at the other end. A lot of restaurants. And he said, "Hey, this is Bill from the other country kitchen. Say, we're out of eggs. Do you have any extra eggs? Oh, sure. We'll put a case out back. Send someone to pick them up. Okay, we'll send someone to pick them up." Hangs up. He goes, "We're gonna make omelets. We got eggs."
Well, hopefully he did a field trip to go see about the carton of eggs. That'd be great.
Yeah, I think they got them. They got eggs, and he was driving away with them. Like, we got a case of eggs. We got to think of what to do with all these eggs now. Just crazy. And I got to have him on the show because I'm really curious. Were those setups, or or did you give the eggs back, or was it really a crime? I mean, were you really documenting crimes? I mean, but it was hilarious. I mean, I was laughing my butt off. And there was another one he did. He called up this guy, it was for an apartment rental for a studio apartment. He calls him up. He says, "Hey, I'm calling about the studio apartment." The guy goes, "Yep, you still got it?" "Oh yeah, we got it still. Yeah, it's still for rent." I was just wondering, would it be okay if me and like 5 or 6 of my friends moved in there? You know, we won't make too much noise. "Yeah, I think that'd be okay." And he goes, "That's the wrong answer because I'm not really calling about the room. This is your boss and you're fired." Click. He
Oh
hangs
no.
up. He goes, "We just fired a guy."
Uh,
I want to know, did he really fire that guy? I mean, that's kind of cruel, you know. I laughed my butt off. And it was funny. But
the guy probably got a call Monday morning, like, "Where you at?" "Oh, I thought I was fired."
right. No, I'll pay you more if you come back. Yeah. But yeah, crazy, crazy stuff. There were some crazy shows.
No doubt. Yeah, about probably 15 years back in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I was flipping through channels and just trash on TV and came across there was a cable access channel up there, and it wasn't. I don't think it was even on all day. It was only on at select times, but 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and I flip across to this local guy. I eventually saw him, but he's this old dreadhead hippie. Oh, whoops! Are we still there?
Yep. Hippie.
Yeah, he's this old dread-headed hippie guy, and he was going into all of this esoteric stuff. I mean, he spanned the gamut: UFOs and spirituality, all these amazing topics, and New World Order and the whole thing. And I'm just like blown away, like, this is on TV. Oh my goodness. And then right after him was this Christian couple. I think they may have been a little more, not local, maybe like more national, but they start playing them, and these two are going off into straight up New World Order talk. Like, we've got to defeat this New World Order.
Wow.
And again, I was just blown away. Like,
yeah.
And after that, I was hooked. Every Saturday night, I was like right there on it. Like, I got to watch these two.
Yeah. And that's what I was trying to do out here. I only got 3 episodes. The 4th episode, they refused to play it. And when I brought it to the drop-off place, the 4th episode of the UFO show with Aaron Moriarty, in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, cable access, they refused to take it. They refused to air it. And the guy called the cops on me. And the cops came, and the cops are like, something wrong here? I said, I don't know. I'm just dropping off my videotape. I mean, I'm just dropping off a videotape where it says to drop it off. And the guy who called the cops on me said, "Oh, I just wanted you here just in case." I'm like, just in case what? That I drop the videotape on your finger? I mean, what am I going to do? I don't know. It was weird. And then I got the call from the chief of police after that. It was very unnerving. And I did give it up for quite a while after that. I had to. And then a friend of mine told me about Blog Talk Radio around 2006, 2007. I got on there, and I had a really cool show on there, Aaron's UFO show on blogtalkradio.com. But all those shows on there, I don't know. They're like frozen. They can't get at them. I don't know what the heck happened to them. Maybe it was inactive too long. I don't know. But I have to find out, because I have some very good interviews on that show with Paula Harris, Jim Sparks. I had a great interview with Jim Sparks. You heard of him?
I don't think I have.
He's an abductee and a very interesting character. Very, very interesting. But
Oh, okay. That kind of rings a bell.
yeah, a lot of his interviews, he starts off saying, he woke up and he saw, his footprints, like wet footprints with clovers, like left on the carpet from where the picture window was. Like he walked through the window.
Huh.
wet feet. And but he told that story a lot, and I got him to talk about something that he hadn't talked about before, which was very interesting. He came up across, he was taken. All of a sudden, he just wakes up and he's in this ship. He was taken somehow, and they were in the middle of space somewhere, and he saw this big, like a skyscraper in space. And they got closer to it, and there were like all these little windows and cubicles. And he went in there, and there was this woman in her apartment sobbing. And they were asking him, can you do something? He's like, I'm not a psychologist. What do you want me to do? I mean, she's crying. I don't know. He didn't know what to do.
Wow.
He tried to help her, but he said they were human looking, but they had bigger heads, and they had sparser hair, and they had like slightly bigger eyes. They were very telepathic and much more ecology based. And so he was under the impression. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
He was under the impression, or they told him, that these were humans that were bred in case we destroyed ourselves.
Okay, so the I was going to ask if the woman was one of these unique looks to her, if she was just normal human, like they were bringing him there to, you're a human, you know how to fix another human, so
Right.
Fix her.
No, she was one of those strange looking, sort of human looking, but a little more advanced. A bigger head, sparser hair, kind of bigger eyes, if I'm remembering the interview correctly. But he also got to meet a very, very old gentleman who was like in the like a boiler room type area, or kind of the controlling area or something like that. And this old gentleman got a kick out of meeting him. So I guess he doesn't get to meet very many people. We got a couple more people in the queue. Someone who is just a phone number. I need you to let me know who you are before I let you in, because I don't want to have to edit this one too. Okay. So I want to make sure it's a real person and not a spammer. I'm going to let in Jake Waters and Dark Brain. I'm not saying goodbye to you. We're just going to expand the party a little bit here. All right. There he is.
Sounds good.
Mr. Jake Waters himself.
Hi, everybody. How you guys doing tonight?
Doing great. How you doing, Dark Brain?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody watching. Wow, this is great. We got 30 people watching. That's fantastic. And the chat's seeming very, very comfy. Now, I can't pay attention to the chat totally, otherwise I'll lose my train of thought. And so I do my best. But if someone sees something in the chat, let me know. Okay. So what's new with you, Jake?
Oh, not a lot. I had my audio muted for the YouTube when I was coming in, so I didn't hear the last thing you guys were talking about. But I knew you were talking about disclosure earlier. I didn't know if you guys have heard anything new, or like when the release dates are going to be, or if it's well, I mean, we've heard maybe in June, but I didn't know if anybody had any kind of time frame in June.
Yeah, I heard it could be tomorrow. I mean, it could be in just a couple hours here. Who knows? Dark Brain, have you heard?
I have not. Just what I saw in the chat there, that tomorrow or possibly later couple of weeks, like the 15th, but I have not heard it. Oh, yes. 25th, yeah.
25th or 15th. Yeah, not exactly sure. And that might be for a number of different reasons, but I'm really anxious to hear what it is. But I still think that if we all stick together and demand more, no matter what we get, yeah, thanks, that was great. More, please. We'd like more of that. Like that meme of that comedian. I can't remember who he is, but
it's probably Dave Chappelle.
Yeah,
Y'all got any more of them disclosures?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, that's something you do too when you're driving, you know, and the cop pulls you over. Always have some powdered donuts on hand. You'll see the powder, and then you show him the donut. His eyes will go whoa, and he'll forget what he stopped you for, and he'll just have a donut. It's my donut tactic. Always keep donuts. You never know when you're gonna get pulled over. You'd be happy that you had donuts when you do, because it could get you off. Isn't that right? Did y'all have a good Memorial Day? What'd you guys do?
I ended up working most of Memorial Day and Memorial Day weekend. Stayed pretty busy.
How about you, Dark Brain?
Yeah, I was just mostly working around the house. I was listening to that Patriot Roundup while I was out in the yard doing weed whacker and chopping some debris and stuff like that.
That's cool. So what was the highlight that you remember? If you could only play one clip, what would it be?
Oh boy, you probably have to go with General Flynn. He went pretty hard.
Did he?
But then again, him and Sidney Powell were both talking some truth, and it wasn't as hard hitting as perhaps some people would like. Everybody wanted to hear them say, there's tribunals and Trump's back in there tomorrow and all this. Yeah, it was a little more down to earth, I suppose, but it was getting people fired up. Like we all need to do something to take this country back and not just sitting around talking about it. So
right.
I think it was useful.
Right. We need to, get on the school boards and, or local precinct people get involved, because if we're not there, it's just some millionaire, billionaire paying somebody to do something, to do their will, right? So if we insert ourselves into the mix, we can make a big impact on that locally. And that's starting to happen.
It is.
I think that Trump's ability to inspire people cannot be underestimated. I think that's why he got so much done, is because he was able to inspire the people around him to do great things. I mean, he's got this I don't know, he spent his whole life winning, and he's just really good at it, and he helps other people win too, and teaches them how to win. It's pretty good.
I would agree, and I think I would claim that his success in doing that also just came from honesty. Like, people saw him making an effort to actually do something, to change things for the better, and everybody was just had been waiting their whole life for that. So as soon as they saw, hey, this guy is in a position to do it and he's actually doing it, boom, we're behind him 100%. It's the only thing we've got. So we see that there is a shining glimmer of hope at the end of the tunnel. Let's run full force to it.
Yeah, it's amazing how simple the message is. Just patriotism and common sense, and that is such a winner. I mean, it's so simple. It's so simple. I heard on I think it was Woke Society's played, or was it? I think Woke Society's played a Ronald Reagan speech, and it was just moving. It was incredible, and it reminded me a lot of the kind of speeches that that Trump made, very incredible. And the things that he said today, the statement Trump put out today, he's just an incredible statesman and an incredible, cheerleader for America and everything about the armed forces and everything. And then you see his beautiful, eloquent, and very respectful words, not just one sentence. And then you see what Kamalia, is that her name? Kamalia? Is that it? Kamalia heals up hair.
I've got some other names for her, but that's probably close enough.
And Bo Jiden, he just said, keep cool, eat some ice cream. Really? Wow. Eat some ice cream. Yeah, wow. In other words, forget about your freedoms. You're not going to have them much longer anyway, is what he's really saying, right?
Yeah, and then Kamala comes out with enjoy your long, or have a nice long weekend.
Yeah.
And that was it, with a picture of herself. Like, could you get any more disrespectful?
Right. Yeah. I'm not sure what her middle name is, but I'd be willing to wager it's probably Cringe.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was pretty rough.
I probably shouldn't say bad things about people, but I mean, everyone knows it was,
it's hard to look at.
The only black DNA in Kamalia is from Willie Brown. Let's be honest. Okay. That's a joke. I shouldn't say jokes.
It's from Brownstown, right?
What?
I said it's from Brownstown, right? It was named after her family.
Yeah? Brownstown?
Huh.
Interesting.
I don't want to talk about it too much, but if viewers want to look into that, Brownstown was named after Kamala Harris's family, and there was a popular slave trade started in that town. It's an interesting story to look into.
Okay, I'll look into that. That does sound interesting. Wow. Well, that other person dropped out. I asked the other person to identify themselves, and they dropped out. So I think we avoided some editing here, folks. Thank goodness.
Speaking of editing, is the show for Andrew's number 14 going to be coming out soon?
It'll be coming out soon. I'm doing little edits here and there on it. It's not done yet. It should be done as soon as it is done. So I just got to get the final okay from Andy, and then it'll be out. No worries. It'll be out, but I wish it was out already, but there it is. Still working on it. I'm also working on the artwork for some of his books that he's coming out with. So I'm excited about that. Hopefully, one of these new glasses that he gets will help him to see enough to okay the artwork for the books.
That's great.
But if I wasn't ethical, I would just submit, stick drawings. But I'm too ethical. Besides, I think he'd catch on. He's a smart guy. Wouldn't want to do that. Never want to do that.
You're too much of a perfectionist, I think.
Am I?
Oh yeah, it's gonna have your name on it. I couldn't imagine you doing that with your name on it, Aaron.
Doing what?
Doing stick drawings of any sort, unless it was a meme.
Right. That's true. I do like making memes. I think that that's the way to teach people things, Memes are unbelievably powerful, don't you think?
They really are. It's distilled truth. You can sure capture somebody's mind or their attention rather by having stuff concise, just where it hits right to the heart. Like they know what you're saying. They've been thinking that it's all kind of a jumble in their head. They can feel it, but then you put it in that distilled form and they're like, boom, you focused in laser like on that one truth, and you just said it in 10 words or less, better than what I've ever been able to articulate.
Oh yeah.
I think that's kind of what Trump did too. You mentioned that that it's all so simple, and it really is. And you mentioned that his speeches and things, he does say some very eloquent things, but all said and done, he distilled it into 2 words: America first.
Yeah.
And people said, wow, that is what I've been wanting this whole time. We've been preached to for our entire lives by these monsters that just preach globalism to us. Oh, it's all got to be globalism. You got to give up your rights and your prosperity and your nation and ship it all overseas. People knew that was wrong. And he just came in there and said, hey, America first. We live here. Your neighbors here, them first. You live here, you first. Your community's here, them first. And there it is.
There's a couple of memes I made. Remember those riots in last summer? Why? Why are they rioting? They're being paid to riot. That's why. It's not a natural thing. Right?
No, not at all. And egged on, no prosecutions. Heck, they were raising money to bail them all out.
Unbelievable. Yeah, Kamala did that too, right?
Oh yeah. Pallets of bricks showing up at all the riots, just out of nowhere. Here's an entire pallet of 500 bricks shows up on the street corner. Well, that doesn't seem good.
Yeah,
orchestrated.
I know. And it's too planned. Too. Yeah, that's violence is never the way to get anything done, and I just don't know why that's not being. Well, I do know why it's not being focused on, because it's clown world. That's why, right? You can't really say much, but it's clown world. It's clown world. So, disclosure: if it comes tomorrow, I want there to be at least some positive movement towards admitting that there is alien life on the planet, because I think when that is understood by most of the people, that there's going to be this shift that happens, that all of a sudden we're going to just, everything's going to seem possible now. And the old ways will just fade away, and the new will be ushered in, and it'll be glorious. I think it'll be glorious. I think it's going to be great. I think that's the key to peace. Once we know we're not alone, and we're, I just think that a lot of the fighting is going to stop. I hope. That's what I've been banking on that my whole life. So we'll see if that happens. But as long as you have globalists paying people to throw bricks, I mean, it's just so stupid. I mean, that's another thing we have to get involved in is education. I taught daycare, and about if we can get enough people in school boards and in schools, to teach these kids some better stuff. I mean, we need to teach the kids what really, really happened. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing? All of a sudden, someday, maybe either Andy's elected president or a presidential council is appointed to look at his case and bring forward some of these technologies like teleportation. That would be amazing, amazing. We should have had it back in 1970s. Teleportation.
Absolutely.
Where would you go, Dark? Where would you go if you could go anywhere in an instant?
That's, I'm a bit of a hermit, so I probably wouldn't go. I don't know if I'd go anywhere.
Yeah.
No, but if I could just go there and back, I'd probably be hitting some mountain peaks maybe.
Whoa.
Yeah, if you could just
Better make sure you get your balance really good before you go there. You don't want to be on top going, whoa, or a big gust of wind.
Yeah, you'd have to suit up in your winter gear and then just hit top of Mount Everest for a second, and then
wow.
once you get cold, pop back. That'd be pretty sweet.
Once you get cold.
You'd have about 30 seconds, and then you'd have to cruise back and warm up.
What about you? What about you, Jake? Where would you go?
I think I've talked about this before. When it comes to teleportation, I don't know if I'd want to teleport anywhere directly. I feel like there's too many variables. Might end up with no legs or teleport into a wall or something. I'd rather use like the chronovisor and look back at historical events and see what actually happened.
Yeah.
Rather than putting myself in danger like that.
So what event would you want to check
out? There'd probably be a few. Probably the writing of the Declaration of Independence, the Lincoln assassination. I think that one's really interesting. That one seemed, even the more Andy talks about it, seems like there's even possibly different timelines that he's looking at when he goes back and sees it. I don't know. There's multiple I could think of, but maybe the 9/11 attacks. I'd want to see what happened on the boat when they caught was it Osama bin Laden that they killed and threw in the water over in the ocean. I'm not sure which if it was. I don't think it, because Saddam got he actually got a trial and was sentenced. So I don't think it was Saddam. I think it was Osama bin Laden that got killed and thrown overboard. I would have liked to see the real details behind some of the SEAL Team 6 and what they did and how all those operations work. There's probably a lot of special ops operations I would look into. But yeah, there's so many things you could use in the chronovisor just to get an accurate view of what actually happened in history.
Yeah. And solve all the crimes that, find out exactly who Jack the Ripper was, or anything that's, you could go back. You could go back to when that Patterson footage of Bigfoot was shot, and you could get a shot for another angle. It's like, whoa, close up with a high def camera, right? Yeah, that would be fascinating.
Hey, Aaron, I was going to ask, did you or Dark Brain, have either one of you guys heard the story, I don't know if it came out today or just recently, about the indigenous people that were at a school in Canada, and they might have found some bodies of some like maybe 300 plus students in the school?
Oh my God.
I don't know if anybody else has heard this.
I did see that kind of just in headline form. I didn't look into it real close, but I know that that's been a topic for many years where they've said that in Canada decades ago, when they started the indigenous schools there, they were bringing all the Inuit kids in, and a lot of them, hundreds, were just disappearing. And so it's always been thought that was something that was happening. Nobody knew what was going on or where they went, but yeah, now I guess they've found the remains of upwards of 300 children, all the way down to infant age. And
that's so sad.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't.
Well, and missing and endangered indigenous women has been on the rise for the last 15 years as well. Not just all indigenous people, but women specifically have been becoming missing and kidnapped more, or just going lost without any sign of anything.
My God, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah, that that has been a huge issue for, like you say, 10 or 15 years easy. Here in New Mexico, there's a lot of Navajo reservations, and that is a big thing. I've always chalked it up to that there are, I'll just go ahead and say it there. I think there's Satanists or various groups that traffic in people. Obviously, that's in the mainstream, but I think they do probably kidnap the most vulnerable people and use them for horrible things, sacrifices, and etc. So I think a lot of those, maybe all of them, are dead because they've been mistreated that way. And yeah, they would go after the most vulnerable people that maybe they would consider that people would miss them, but no one would really look into it. It's just it happens, and then now it happens more and more. Now it's an epidemic. No one even looks into it.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
And it's a closed off society that doesn't really like to talk to the police that much. So they're kind of vulnerable in that sense. They're not working with the government as much unless they have to. It seems like most of the small communes on the reservations are really more to themselves, and they make most of their money off of what's it called, tourists and stuff like that, where they can actually sell some of their goods.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I thought would be a cool product that would probably be best made by American Indians, but I always thought this would be a cool thing. You know what a dream catcher is, right? You hang it on your wall. It's like a woven thing, and it's got like the strings, so they're all woven. It's a beautiful design. But I thought it'd be cool to make like a 4-poster bed with a canopy on top. The canopy would be the dream catcher, like a big dream catcher on top. Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd probably be pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
I think so.
So kind of like
like a hammock, but.
Well, no, kind of like a top of a bed, because it was like above the bed, kind of like a canopy bed. You could, well, I guess you could make a hammock too. A friend of mine that I went to high school with, he invented the tip-proof hammock. Randy Ketcher. Look up the tip-proof hammock out on Lake Minnetonka. He's expanding to other areas now, but he has one that goes onto your dock and swivels out, and it's got like an umbrella. You can put it in the sun or in the shade anytime you want. Bring it in, bring it out. But you really can enjoy your dock more. You can like lay out, on your dock. It's kind of cool. And swing out over the water. So look that up, Randy Ketcher. Maybe I'll look that up and I'll get that on here. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be neat to see a picture of that. I've heard you mention it, and I was like, oh, how does that thing work? Because I've definitely biffed it out of a hammock before.
It's very simple. And I told Randy, I said, man, you're smarter than the professor, because Gilligan and Skipper were falling all over each other, and you figured it out. You figured it out. So he's smarter than the professor. There's only one castaway left alive, and that's Ginger. Did you know that? Ginger. It's the only one left. It's the only one left alive.
Huh. I didn't know that, but I had heard that Marianne passed away.
Yes. Very sad.
A little while back.
Very, very sad. Okay. You know what? I gotta find the video, because it's pretty darn cool, and it just shows the whole thing. Yeah, I gotta find the video. Okay, I'll just show the. Where is it? Where did it go? Thanks for calling in, you guys. I really appreciate it. really appreciate it. Okay, tip-proof hammocks. Aha,
Yeah,
here.
thanks for it's really great.
Uh-oh. Okay, that was kind of loud.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to share this. And so you'll see a little bit of this. Where, all right, am I already sharing something? I don't think I am. Okay. All right. Something's going on here. All righty then. Let's see. Share screen. You're gonna love this. Okay. I'm gonna turn off this other music. All right, are you ready? Can you see that?
I can see that.
All right. Oh, I think I messed something up on the what you call it thing. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see if this is the video I was thinking it was. Oh boy. Okay, we don't need all of that. See that? See, it's got bars on the top and the bottom, so it doesn't swivel. You can never get dumped on it. You know? Isn't that cool?
That looks great.
Isn't that awesome? Randy Ketcher, tip-proof hammocks. Look him up. And you'll be happy that you did, because there's not very many of them around. And he went down to Florida. He took a whole truckload full of, he sold every single one. So he's doing great. So proud of that guy. Very cool guy. His big hero is Mike Lindell. I think Mike Lindell should sell pillows for his hammock pillows. That's what I think. Because he's a patriot too. So it's good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tip-proof pillows. That'd be awesome.
So I got my flag.
And you would never.
This is my flag. It's a pretty cool one, actually. It's made in America, of course. I got it at Walmart, surprisingly. It's embroidered. It's really nice. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's beautiful. But I had to roll it up. It's even got the eagle on the end of it. Pretty cool. So, loving the flag. Gotta love the flag.
I think I have that same flag.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes up on your house at an angle.
Yeah.
It's pretty darn cool. Yep, very patriotic. Very patriotic. Wow. So disclosure, we're only an hour away from June. This is might be our last hour before disclosure. Although I don't think they'd come out at midnight. But we've been waiting long enough, you know? I was a little boy watching the moon rover go around to the far side of the moon. And we're going to see for the first time ever, the far side of the moon. We're going to lose, we're going to lose contact for about a minute, then we'll regain and we'll see pictures from the far side of the moon, never seen before. Well, it went blank, and they went to a commercial, and they went to another commercial, and it went to another show, and they never showed what they saw. And I was a kid going, what are they hiding? I just had a feeling they found something they didn't show us. I mean, it was terrible.
I would go ahead, Jake.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, Aaron, if they come out with something big, will you promise you're gonna jump on here and tell us what you hear?
Sure, of course. Yeah.
I'm hoping
Definitely.
for something big. I'd love to see you jump on excited and get ready to talk about it with everybody.
Yeah, and tell them what else we need to disclose. because you're going to see all the normal faces that you see talking about it. I mean, all of the familiar faces, but they're not going to be asking the critical questions, because I think they're all gatekeepers. I mean, you can't make a living at this, you know. I mean, you could if it was an honest market, but it's not. It's they suppress things they don't want out. So, you know.
Well,
Go ahead.
let's speak in hypotheticals. So we all kind of expect a soft disclosure because that's what we usually get over in history.
Mhm.
What if they came out and told us there was more than teleportation, more than what Andy was talking about, and things that we haven't even fathomed yet? What would we do?
Well, we'd say, well, what is it? Give us the specifics and give us more, because we got to be like a kid at the grocery store. We're not going to let mom leave until we, get all the candy bars we want, because we haven't had any candy bars in 70 years. So we need all of them. That's my opinion. I do think that we're going to get more this time than we ever got before. And that'll be nice, but it won't be the best. The best is everything, like the galactic slave trade and everything, rip the Band-Aid off. For the people who think, oh, let's do it slow because people need to get acclimated, bull crap. If you want that, just, I don't know, man, keep living your life the way you're living it. But we need disclosure. It's so needed. It's so needed. And think about also the cost of keeping this stuff secret. Okay. Brilliant people aren't getting credit for the brilliant things they've invented. And those brilliant things aren't influencing the young people to create even more brilliant things. So you can't even measure the damage that's being done by keeping this stuff so locked up. I mean, that's why I'm so grateful for what Andy's doing and talking so eloquently and so much in detail about these advanced technical developments that they've achieved. Dr. Harold Agnew, and he even worked with John Lear, or not John Lear, Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes was the head of the Mars project, Project Mars. He was the main guy, but he was supposed to be dead at that time. But he was working in these dark projects. I mean, there's a whole history we're not being told what it is. And, no wonder no one goes into history. It's boring as heck. If they would tell us what they actually did, it would be the most exciting class ever. I'd go back to school. Wow, we get to watch the chronovisor. Well, yeah. I'll do 8th grade over again. But
yeah.
I'm coming up on my 41st reunion. Can you believe it?
Wow.
41 years. Yeah, I graduated in 1980, and that was supposed to be the future, but it fizzled out fast. Still scratching for it.
Well, I'm going to be a wet blanket here and say that as far as the disclosure goes, I mean, best case scenario obviously is they come out with everything, and we're so satisfied because they're just dropping floods of information and nobody can even keep up with it. No one can even get their feet under them because there's just so much coming out. But I I gotta say, based on history, I think soft disclosure is even an overstatement. I think it's gonna. I would personally guess that it would be absolutely nothing. I mean, knowing how they work, it disclosure is them giving up control, power. I don't anticipate that. If anything, it might be, oh, well, it turns out, yeah, we saw this grainy video and it means there's something out there that we just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And therefore we're going to start a commission, just like the 9/11 commission, just like the JFK assassination commission. And we're going to look into it. And then 50 years from now, we'll let you know what we find out.
Yeah.
And so, that's a big possibility. And maybe I'm a little jaded from the whole number 17 issue. There's a lot of constant disappointment there, which is fine. It probably gears me up for more, but go ahead.
I'm not disappointed by everything we learned by our favorite Anon, because look,
Nor am I.
a lot of us thought we were, kind of on the cutting edge of knowing a lot, but we all really learned a lot about the reality of our world that we live in and how infiltrated it has become, and
Absolutely.
and how to stick together. United we stand, divided we fall. Together you are strong. There's so many really good lessons in there, and I think even civics, civic duty, and I think a lot of the people now stepping up in the local races and whatnot really were touched and urged on by these posts. So I don't think that I just don't think that it was that it was something that we should feel let down about, because we've really opened our eyes. And even if that Anon never posts again, I mean, the worldwide movement that was started, I mean, I call it in my memes, it's the largest volunteer army in the world. It's worldwide. And it's all based on really good things. I mean, where we go one, we go all. I mean, and no one's above anybody. Everyone's included, every race, every gender, everything, even if you're a cosmic caterpillar, for heaven's sakes, everybody. So I just think it's a beautiful thing. It really has brought humanity together in a lot of ways. And that's why I'm anxious to see that God and Country meetup footage, because I think Red Pill 78 said it good, is that we need more of these get-togethers where we can all meet each other. And that's really what Trump rallies were too. It's a chance to come out into a non-clown world and be happy and free. I mean, right?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, Aaron. And yeah, that it was really something to see that many patriots there, just all on the same page and all fired up like that. And as far as the Q deal goes, I probably misspoke. I wouldn't trade the last 4 years for the world. It's going to be something I treasure forever. And it really did catalyze an entire movement worldwide to focus in on some very important things. And when I say disappointment in that, it's more my disappointment in perhaps misreading what was going to happen. Like, oh, I really know this is going to happen, and then it doesn't. Yeah. Oh, well, move on to the next one. But that was a growing experience too, to be able to deal with that and say, well, where did I misstep, or where did I perceive it incorrectly? And so, that's got most people, I think, have come out of that with that perhaps mindset where we're not trying to anticipate or prognosticate what's going to happen, just to be able to roll with the punches, go with the flow.
You have more than you know. You've got more than you know, and read past drops, future proofs past. I mean, it's all good, and there's nothing at all violent or anything about any of the messages that I can remember ever seeing. It's always been just positive, patriotic, just good, being a good human being, you know, and rooting out evil, which I think should be number one job. And I'm so glad that our previous president put so much effort into all that, you know, stopping human trafficking and all that kind of stuff. And now this administration, what are they doing? They're taking bus loads of people at the border and trafficking them all over the country. I mean, it's just insane. I mean, they are literally trafficking them to other states.
It's mind-blowing.
It's what is the crime that's going to break the camel's back, you know, because there's a stack of crimes already. When is anyone gonna pay? And like that kid who got that footage and they confiscated 90,000 from him, but did they arrest him? I don't think so. Did they? I don't know.
Briefly, he was in jail for like an afternoon, and then they released him.
Well, that's not long enough, because there's some patriots who did nothing and they are sitting in solitary right now. Am I right?
That is absolutely right.
Just for being there. And I'm sorry, that's not appropriate. That's not right. It's not America. That's just not good. And before you prosecute any of those people, I want to see prosecutions of every riot of the previous summer. I want to see those people in solitary. I want to see those people in jail before anyone from that other event. I'm not even going to say it because I think we know what it is. Don't want to get deplatformed, but yeah, if you're waiting for the disclosure and you want to get something, read the disclosure book, The Day After Roswell. It's a fantastic book. Corso. Have you read this book, Dark Brain?
I've not read that. That looks really, really quite interesting.
It really is. I mean, I interviewed his son, Phil Corso Jr., who builds top secret airplanes in a top secret airplane factory in Florida. And he actually invited me to it, but I never went. But yeah, Colonel Corso, his grandkids were asking him, you know, Grandpa, what did you do? What did you do in the service? So he thought about it. He thought, you know what? I'm going to write a book. This needs to be known. And so in 1961, I believe, he started at the Pentagon in the Foreign Technologies desk. And his boss was General Trudeau. And he got this 4-drawer file cabinet full of crash wreckage parts from the Roswell crash. And Trudeau told him, look, when no one's around, because KGB had infiltrated the Pentagon, when no one's around late at night, I want you to look through this file cabinet, figure out what this stuff might be, find companies that are working on things along those lines, and bring this stuff to them to see if we can get something going from this stuff. He goes, I don't know if they know we have this. I don't know how long we're going to have it, but we have it, and let's get something done with it. So he did. And they got, according to him, they got Kevlar from the studying the clothes that the beings were wearing. They got fiber optics because they had these clear wire harnesses in this crash wreckage. The integrated circuit chip, the computer chip, because they were round, kind of oyster cracker shaped gray chips. He said they were all kind of like connected in a big board. Some of them were burned, but they were individually, they were computer chips. And that's what ITT saw in 47. And that's how they developed the transistor, because it used two things that were never used in electronics before: arsenic and silicon. So,
Wow.
but in 61, they got to see it again and said, okay, you saw this before. We got it from a foreign fighter. They don't say where they got it. Got it from a foreign aircraft. They don't say exactly who it was. And they say, you can keep all the patents that you developed, but we want the military application. So that's what they did, and very, very successfully. And so it's a fantastic book. He talks about why they kept it secret, because if they would have admitted back then in the 40s and the early 50s that, yeah, these things are flying around, we have nothing to stop them, we have no defenses against them, then very possibly the government could crumble because it wouldn't be able to protect the people. So I think that's one of the reasons why they kept it secret. But now we've got technologies to protect ourselves. I think we're advanced enough now. So,
Aaron,
yeah.
What did you?
do you worry about Trump being connected to the disclosure, especially after seeing his media coverage and all of the disinformation and misquoting that went on? Do you think it'll be also a form of, I don't know, cover up or way of discrediting any kind of disclosure because it was connected to him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I just have a feeling that Biden's just going to smile and take credit for it. I don't think there's, who knows? They love to attack Trump for no reason at all. I don't know how they could spin it, because the people, I think if you took a survey, you'd probably get 85% of the people want this stuff released, or maybe 90%. That's my guess.
I could just see Trump coming out with the results from the committees coming together from all the different services, and them just spinning it. Oh, yep, Trump believes in little green men, and I could just see I could see it spun so many ways, and it's already been done in front of us so many times. I just wonder if that's going to be another way of stifling it.
Well, if they do that, I say that it'll just wake more people up, and they'll go, what? That's a good thing that he did that. It might be the thing that red pills a lot of people. I certainly can't wait for it to happen, because yeah, I'm the crazy guy to a lot of people around here. I'm the crazy conspiracy theorist guy. But that's what it is. That's okay. But like, they're not taking down platforms for saying that, what started in that other country over there, but now you can say it. It's like, so conspiracy theory is just it's truth that will eventually become mainstream. That's what a conspiracy theory is. It's truth that will eventually become mainstream. So insert any conspiracy theory, it'll become truth. I think it's all true. All conspiracy theories.
That's true. That was a quote bandied around at that conference. They said, what's the difference between a conspiracy theory and a fact? About 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, there you go. See? Yeah. Dark Brain, maybe, I don't know if you've ever seen My Amazing Discovery, My Amazing Finding, but I solved 2 mysteries in one. You ever heard of the Atacama being, that small little being that they found in the desert of South America? It's a small little alien. I think that you
And this
it?
is this is the body they have, right?
The mummified, yeah, the mummified body. You seen
Okay,
it?
yeah.
And everyone wondering what it is. I figured it out. Okay.
Huh.
So from the mind of Aaron Moriarity, the power of observation, the critical thinking skills of seeing, like the length of the shin and the length of from the ankle to the knee and whatnot. It's all right there. Look at that. Mystery has been solved. It's absolutely amazing, because you know what? Everyone was also wondering what the heck happened to Beavis. Now we know. He wandered off in the desert, lost his hair, and got a tan. He's dead.
So Mike Judge was predictive programming. Interesting.
Isn't that freaky? But look at the proportions. They're exact. Isn't that weird?
That is a little odd.
I mean, I always thought that Beavis and Butthead were drawn very strangely. I mean, look at how small his ankle to his knee is. But it's identical. Huh. It's identical to that. I mean, if you could X-ray Beavis, that's what you'd find inside him for sure.
It definitely is. Whoa.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool.
That is pretty cute.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta have a little
that
fun.
Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that Mike Judge was from New Mexico, from Albuquerque.
Oh, really?
It's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's pretty interesting too, because there are some cats like old Beavis and Butthead that roam. They're real life beings. It was art imitating life for sure.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, you've seen those little fairies too with the wings. Some guy in England had all these mummified little, and they have skeletons inside them too. It's like, what is all this? Little fairies. Have you seen those things?
I have, and people claim, oh, it's a fake, and the guy pieced them together. But they X-ray them, and they have, they do have internal structure. It'd be you'd have to be a master model builder to fake something like that.
Yeah, you sure would. Yes, you would. I wonder if I can find this other one. Now, maybe you guys saw this. What do you guys think of the alien autopsy? The original alien autopsy video.
The original one was fake, right? I thought the original one was fake, and I thought there was a real one, but it was them shooting what they thought what it was like. I didn't think they actually shot the real one. I mean, there might be real footage of it, but that wasn't what was released.
I think it was real. I think the footage that this came from was 100% real. Now, years later, they came out with some footage of this in color, and the creature was just a sculpted model. But although it was very well done, I could tell a lot of differences. And this seems like something that was alive. It has that feeling of once being alive. I can't describe it, but I truly think that this was, it was actual footage. And I think this is one of the flesh beings that died in the crash. Look at his leg; it's totally decimated. Yeah, the footage is incredible. If you watched the original one, I tend to think that that's actually true, real. It really, my gut says that was real. That's just my opinion, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but yeah.
I feel like that if that was real, that would be the biggest disclosure we've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of anything bigger than that if we actually watched an alien autopsy, because I've seen that footage, and I just think it'd be interesting if they released it to us, making us think it was fake.
Yeah. Here's a couple drawings I did for Stan Romanek. He encountered these, he called them possum people. And they had bigger heads and kind of slanted big eyes and sparse hair, kind of like what Jim Sparks was talking about. But he said that these came as close as he's ever seen to what they actually looked like. So,
Wow.
that's kind of cool. They're just colored pencil sketches they did quickly.
Huh.
Yeah, his story is amazing. Have you ever heard of him?
I don't know that I have.
There's a movie that was done called Extraordinary, and I highly recommend that.
Extraordinary. Okay.
And and here's one of the aliens. Now, so Stan's camera went missing once. This was years ago. It was missing for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden it was back on the counter. And on the counter was the camera, and he checked the camera, and there were some selfies on there. Here's one of those selfies. Check that out.
Huh.
Look at that. That looks like it's alive. It doesn't look like a mask to me. That looks like something that's alive. But yeah,
Oh.
he
Okay.
was smashed over the head when he went to his mailbox. He was smashed over the head with something very heavy. He got brain damage. And then they were always breaking into his house and stealing his evidence and his computer. They got to the point where they had a fake box of evidence because they knew their house was going to get broken into, and they put a fake box of evidence out, so they take that and not the real box.
Nice.
But yeah, they shot at him, and now he's been hospitalized. And they also, when they took his computer, they put some nasty stuff on there and claimed that it was his when it wasn't, and they took him out of circulation. He's still alive, but he's incarcerated. I don't think he can get on the internet. So very sad. So this is what they do to people, folks. So this is where, but if we don't stand up, no one's ever going to know, right?
That's
So
right.
we need to stand up, be counted.
Aaron, I
Yeah.
was gonna ask, what do you feel about I can't think of his name right now. The gentleman that claimed to build the DUMBs, the deep underground military bases.
Oh yeah. What was his name?
Got in a fire battle with some aliens underground at some point, and
Right.
had the scars to kind of back it up. And he had some materials that he had found that he presented to people. But he was also presenting around the same time like Al Bielek was, and a couple other people that I think have been kind of discredited to this day. But I don't think Phillip Schneider, maybe?
Phil Schneider, that's it. Yeah, Phil Schneider. Yeah, I think he's completely legit. Definitely. He had
Yeah.
metal samples and everything. Yeah, he's an amazing guy.
So with that, what do you think of the idea of all of the different like tracks running under the surface of the earth, and how do you think there's high-speed trains and stuff like that?
Oh, I think so. I don't know how there couldn't be, you know? Enough people have talked about it. Have you all ever seen this picture?
I don't know that I've seen that one.
This is an alien. This woman in Italy was being abducted, okay? So her name is Giovanna Pata. You can look her up. And so her boyfriend set up a motion camera outside the door of their apartment or their home or whatever they live. And they caught this. And let me see if I can find the other ones. Just amazing what they got. Now, is this true? I don't know. You know, we're all trying to figure this all out, but we got to look at it and kind of make up our mind after that, right? All right, where is the maybe it's the hybrid.
Wow.
Well, I can't find it, but one of them looks like very human, but he's got like white skin and big blue eyes. Just almost looks like a space rock star, and white glowing hair because it's backlit. I wish that I could find it. I can't find it. Okay, well, I'll go to all my files here and see if I can find something. But yeah, this one, you can see grass on his face. You see that piece of grass? Like he's been running through the grass or something.
Okay.
There's something on his face there. He just looks he looks like he could be alive too. What do you think?
It's certainly a real photo. I mean, that the object there is a three-dimensional physical object.
Right.
That much is evident. Now, someone would say, well, could it be a model or something that somebody created and then took a photo of it? Perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very detailed.
It could be, and it could be. It's unlike any alien I've ever seen. You know, it doesn't look like, and that's why I tend to believe the alien autopsy video, that first picture I showed, because if someone's going to go to that length of faking something like that, they would make it look like what people said they saw. They wouldn't make it look like something that people didn't say that they saw. And most of the people who saw the aliens at Roswell said they had 4 fingers. And this creature in the movie, the footage, has 6 fingers. So if it's fake, why on earth would you make a 6-fingered alien when all of the reports of that alien were that it had 4 fingers and no thumb, just 4 fingers? So that's what made me, because I went backwards. I thought, okay, if I'm going to fake this, what would I do? Well, I take a look at all the testimony. And so let's just think about what it would take to fake that. You would need, first of all, you'd need undeveloped film from 1947 or that era. And this film was on 1947 film, okay? So you'd have to find film undeveloped that still could be developed, okay? And, you know, I don't know how long that's the shelf life of that stuff is. You know, I just don't know. It might be very difficult to do. I mean, it wouldn't be impossible, but I don't know. I just don't know.
It'd be difficult. I mean, it'd be very elaborate if someone was doing that. And then you'd have to wonder what's the purpose. I mean, I suppose the government could do it if they had they've got the resources, so they could potentially fake something like that. And the purpose would be then to discredit somebody down the road. But we haven't really. You'd have to then drop the truth. It was all faked, and hard evidence to prove that, to then discredit it itself. But none of that's ever come out either. So
Right.
So yeah, I'm kind of torn on that one.
Do you know what I'm very happy about? I'm very happy that we all have something that this, I guess, the tallest person in this next picture had. And we all use them to solve mysteries, just like was done so many years ago. Yes, to the Bat computer, right? They went to the Bat computer and they figured out what to do. Now we all have Bat computers. We can solve these problems. They showed us how, right? The Caped Crusader. And look, even Batgirl, she's even getting in on the whole thing there.
No doubt.
Now, Bert Ward is still alive. Sadly, Adam West passed away, but Bert Ward is still alive. He's my Facebook friend, and I want to have him on the show. I want to get him on the show and talk about being the boy wonder. So, yeah, very cool. Very cool stuff.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that was a great, great show. I mean, I loved that show when I was a kid. Man, I wanted to be Batman. And, you know, for a kid, Batman's the only guy that you could actually be, because he's not a space alien. He doesn't have any powers or superpowers like Superman. He's just got a utility belt and a cool car, right? So much more realistic to grow up and be Batman, be like Batman, right?
Not gonna lie,
Yeah.
that's why I don't like when people call him a superhero.
That's why you don't call, like calling Batman a superhero?
Yeah. What is he, a vigilante with a lot of money?
Yeah, well, you know, he's fighting crime, man. You got all these colorful characters. You need a colorful Caped Crusader to round them all up, right?
But I have to draw a strict line. If you call yourself a superhero, you have to have superpowers, whether they're given to you by radiation spilling on you or you were just born with it because you were born on another planet. I feel like superheroes have to have superpowers. Well,
now that's interesting. Now, they did have nuclear power. They had their own nuclear power plant in the Batcave. That's where they got all that energy to do all that stuff. And they had the Bat computer. So this is something that nobody else really had. They had a computer. So they could figure all these crimes out, you know, all these riddles. They just put it in the computer and, man, they could figure it out. I don't know. I think that they had superheroes. They were superheroes through their gadgetry, you know. That's what I think. That's my personal opinion. But
being insanely rich is a bit of a superpower. Unfortunately, these days we mostly end up with super villains.
Yeah. Yeah, I always wanted to be the good guy. I never wanted to be the bad guy. I see kids now, they want to be like Darth Vader. It's like, why would you want to be a bad guy? I mean, I don't get it. The good guy always wins. So why would you want to be a bad guy? They've really kind of glorified the whole bad guy thing, haven't they?
Yeah, it's a concerted effort, I think, to glorify evil. It's
Pow. Daniel Fail says pow. Yeah. How do you like that? Oh, we got Diane Rain in. Let's let her in and see what she's up to.
Oh yeah, shout out to Diane Rain and also Mud Rabbit.
And Mud Rabbit, yeah, I love that name, Mud Rabbit.
You've really got the best chat on the whole YouTube, Aaron. I mean, they're so kind, like not lots of good
Really?
civil conversations, I think, in there. There's never a problem in there. It's yeah,
I think,
there's some great folks in there.
now, is Mud Rabbit a good moderator?
I think she'd be a great moderator.
Okay, I'm going to add Mud Rabbit because she seems to always be around.
Yeah, Mud
She's-
Rabbit's really nice. It says hi to all the guests. Mud Rabbit's one of the best as well.
That's a cool. I love that name, Mud Rabbit. I had rabbits living under my shed, but now we got dogs back there, so I don't think that. Diane, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. What's on your mind?
Oh, I had to jump in now that I got the 2 hours quiet. Disclosure, do you really think it's going to happen?
I think something's going to happen. Yeah.
I do.
You don't? You don't think anything's going to happen?
Something a little, but asking me to trust the government to divulge highly classified information is,
Yeah.
I know better.
Well, but you know what? I remember, way back before the turn of the century, when Bill Clinton was president, and I don't get me wrong, I don't like Bill Clinton, but he did one thing. He did a couple good things. One of the things he did was good was he gave a formal apology, a governmental formal apology to the people who were tested on by the government without their knowledge. Like what they would do is in these different towns, they would sprinkle the town with aluminum dust that was radioactive. And they'd pick up kids on their way home and from school, and they check them for radiation and, all these kind of things without the people knowing. Well, he got a lot of those files opened up, made public, and publicly apologized and actually paid restitution to some of the families. I thought that was really good disclosure of some nefarious things that the government did. I mean, think about how hard that would be to admit. He didn't have to do that. So I think that's the one good thing that he did. And that's a form of disclosure.
I just don't have much confidence. Sorry.
Well,
Yeah, we've been getting disclosure from people for years, real people, real witnesses.
yeah, that's the way it's going to come.
Right.
True. Yeah.
This is-
It's like this. This is the disclosure book, 1997.
I had that book.
Yeah. Do you have the original one, the orange cover?
No, the one I had was very small font, very hard to read.
I lent my original one, which is smaller than this, to my neighbor across the way. He lives in condos across the street. And he's an retired Air Force guy with top secret clearance. He showed me his place, very immaculate. And I was telling him about this book, the original book, the orange with the orange cover. And he was shocked. He goes, "Where are you getting this information?" I said, "It's in a book." He goes, "I'd like to see that book." I brought it over. I said, "Here, you can read it for a while." That was several years ago. I haven't seen it, hide nor hair of it since.
I bet.
But yeah, I'm kind of surrounded by ex-military people around here. It's kind of weird. It's kind of comforting though,
I hope so.
Yeah, I think we're going to get something. I mean, we already got something. I mean,
Uh,
the Navy has changed how the pilots do the reporting of this to make it less of a burden for them. They released a couple of footages that they keep replaying. We need more than this. But
and like I said, I think it's going to come mostly from people. Just
yeah,
I was a Navy cryptologist back in the 80s.
really,
And,
wow.
So I had the top secret clearance and signals.
What did you hear or see? Come on, spill.
Yeah.
What?
can't. Oh, you can't.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me about that fiction book that you read about the Navy crypto thing, but not what you experienced, but the fiction book you read about it. Yeah.
Well, who was it? Oh gosh, he was a cryptologist. Put out a book after he was from Vietnam era.
Hmm.
I'm trying to remember the name of that book. But you're talking about the most highest of clearance, or if you want to go into Q or cosmic clearance. That's what it'll be, partial drip drip, just like they've done. I mean, dear God, they're still talking about Roswell and Rendlesham.
I know.
And I'm just like, that crap. Roswell was before I was born, for God's sake, you know.
Can we get a Kecksburg over here? Can we get a Battle of LA? Can we hear something about all these other things? In the Battle of LA, according to William Tompkins, we did shoot down, or maybe our radar knocked down a drone, an alien drone.
Right.
And it landed in the ocean, and we recovered it, and we recovered another one in the mountains. So in 42, we had 2 alien craft at least. So that's many years before 47. So.
Right. And it's always been on our face. The history, art, even things from the pre-Victorian Middle Ages. I mean, it's been in art. It's all over Egypt. But what is it in Turkey? Göbekli Tepe or whatever you call it. Okay, no growling, Lucy. Sorry.
Göbekli Tepe.
Right. So it's everywhere, and it's been in our face for our entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, they just don't want to see.
But don't you think that the public has had 20 years of ancient aliens? Okay, that's pretty much going to prep everybody for anything.
Not everyone. I have neighbors that never heard of this show.
Really? I think it's probably like one of the most popular shows, isn't it? I mean, I haven't watched television, but to be honest with you, I have not watched television since back before the turn of the century. In other words, 1998, I think, was the last. 1997 or 98 was when at the time, my then landlord got Dish Network, and my antenna stopped working up in Egg Harbor, Wisconsin. And I said to my very nice landlord, Ray, I said, "Hey, Ray, my television went out. I'm not getting any signal." Now, I only got 3 channels, and only one was I guess they were all kind of fuzzy, but one was sort of clear. And so I wasn't watching it much anyway. And then he climbed up on top of the house, and the house, you wouldn't want to climb on top of this house. So he said, "It looks okay." I went in and tried it. It didn't work. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to bug him again. I'm not going to send him up there again. Though maybe I'm not supposed to watch TV. And lo and behold, I wasn't supposed to watch TV. And now I'm like, I have a free mind. I'm watching that brainwashing stuff. So
we're still waiting for Bigfoot, Dogman. I mean, if they haven't disclosed that after all the videos of UFOs, and it just deny. I just don't have much hope for the government disclosure coming from government. Like I said, we've been getting it for years. You can't believe everything you hear, but still. Yeah.
I think, we're going through, according to some people, the Earth is going through an energetic area of space right now. And it's changing the vibrational resonance of the planets and the sun and us. And I just am hopeful and thinking that maybe maybe, just maybe, we will become a little bit more insightful, a little bit more telepathic, a little bit more able to figure out people, what their intent is. I mean, we already are pretty good at it, but I think it's going to be clearer and clearer what people's motives are as we move into this
Exactly.
higher energetic area of space.
Just in this year, 2021, my intuition I feel like it's doubled.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my discernment is way up there. So, oh yeah,
I think
life
so.
on the way.
I think so too. And you know, full disclosure means everything, and medical too. You know, I saw a video, and I talked about this in the show before, and I want everyone to look this up. But there was this team of scientists that were testing mice with Alzheimer's, you know, with dementia. And they did some therapy with them. What they did was they drilled a hole in their head, and they put a fiber optic cable in, and they flashed light at a certain, like a 47 hertz or something like that, rapid fire. And what that did was it woke up the amyloid plaque cleaners inside the brain that cleaned up the amyloid plaque or whatever that stuff is. And all of a sudden the mice got their memories back. And they said, well, you know, we're not going to want to drill a hole in people's heads. So maybe the eye is a window to the brain. The optic nerve goes right to the brain. So maybe we could put the mice in a dark room and flash the light, and the flashing will go through their eyes and go to their brain. And they did that, and it worked.
Oh, I believe it. Frequency. Everything.
Yeah. So if your grandpa or your great uncle or your father or grandma, if they have a hard time remembering, bring them to the disco and get that strobe light going. And heck, they'll get their memory back. I mean, but just think, you could just have glasses to put on, and it could have that all in there. It wouldn't be very expensive. You could probably do it with LEDs, for heaven's sakes. 2, you know, AA batteries and LEDs flashing, and you could cure someone. And you know, in the golden years of their lives, you could make it much more worthwhile. But big farmy, they make a lot of their money on these types of ailments. So
Exactly.
even though this breakthrough study was done like 2 or 3, 4 years ago, has there been any human study? I mean, what would there's no risk. I mean, you just put the glasses on and it flashes. I mean, there's no risk. Why would you not want to? So I encourage you to look that up. Do you want me to look it up? Or maybe I could play it. Is that something we want to do?
I think that's interesting. To me, that's migraine. To me, because I get white flashing 4, like one white light in each corner of my eye, and so 4 like strobe lights, and that's a migraine to me.
Oh, I get those too. They flash around. They move around. Mine move around like they're.
Or blurry spot that grows.
No, I get these
That
flashing things that like they're flashing around in there in my vision. But I've got some visual problems. So
you ever notice how many RH-neg people get migraines? Just curious.
yeah, I get visual migraines. They don't hurt. I get the visual migraine with the
ocular. Those are called ocular migraines. Ophthalmologist told me that.
the candy stripe, the bright candy stripe stuff. Yeah.
Because I called my ophthalmologist back in the 90s, and I was like, you won't believe this, but, and he knew right away. He knew right away what they were. And he said, you need to go to a neurologist. Those are called ocular migraines. Because it depends upon the intensity of the headache.
Uh-huh.
The white lights are the worst ones with nausea, vomiting, everything. And then I'll have a blurry spot that grows over a couple of hours. until it almost completely envelops my vision, my sight.
Mhm.
But my sister is O negative. My daughter was O negative as well. And my sister recently told me, and this is someone who she's 14 years older, so she's I think she'll be 70 this year. But
Wow.
anyway, she told me she woke up. This is like a month ago, and she said I think I dreamt it, but she said someone was in my room, and I literally asked them out loud, "What are you doing here?" And I said, I call them the Watchers.
Mhm.
That's what I call the Watchers. Um, and I told her, I said, "You weren't dreaming." She said, "I almost swear I wasn't." I'm like, "No, you weren't." So she's come so far. You know, she's one of those that calls me up. You were right. You were right. She learned something new. You're not crazy. No, I'm not. I've never been. But
Wow.
some people really need to just really wake up, open their mind, decalcify their pineal gland.
Mhm.
I filter all my water, drinking water, even for my pets, my fur babies.
Good for you.
So,
That's awesome.
you know, people, there's a lot of. I woke up, was it December 30th, and I felt like I had been in a fight, like I was on the ground and someone kicked me, and I literally was having a hard time breathing.
Oh my God.
And I almost wonder, was I attacked in the astral? Because I don't remember. But I could barely move for 2 weeks. It was very painful. And I just wonder, I'm just curious, did you have an invisible or imaginary friend when you were real small?
Who, me?
Yes.
I might have. I know my daughter did. Kanie.
I thought it was like around 5, 6. My sister, she said, no, you were 2 and 3 years old talking to someone, carrying on a conversation with someone. And I remember I called it Thinker. And
Okay.
I just started sharing this recently. And Thinker was courage to me. I slept in the front bedroom. If I wanted to drink a water in the middle of the night before we had Dixie cups,
Mhm.
I was afraid to walk to the back of the house in the dark because there were vampires in my closet and monsters under my bed, and I swore to it. But Thinker gave me courage to get up and go. Now, was this all my imagination? I don't know, but I'd love to go through reverse hypnosis and find out.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I found this video. You want to watch? It's only 4 minutes long. Okay. Turn on. Make it have sound.
There are currently no effective therapies for Alzheimer's disease. As lifespans increase and our population ages, Alzheimer's represents a looming public health problem of immense proportions, one that is also personal. 1 in 3 adults in the United States will die from Alzheimer's or age-related dementia, touching almost everyone as a patient or a caregiver. There are now 46 million people with Alzheimer's disease worldwide. The total societal costs associated with dementia will reach $2 trillion by 2030. Alzheimer's expenses are the greatest direct healthcare cost to the United States economy, greater than cancer and heart disease. New approaches to treat and reverse Alzheimer's disease are needed. Recent studies suggest that Alzheimer's disease disrupts brain signaling and how neurons synchronize. This specific type of neuron synchrony, altered in Alzheimer's disease, is called the gamma rhythm. Sensory information from our environment is critical to how the brain synchronizes and communicates, which aids in our ability to remember loved ones' names, recall what we did last week, and to pay attention to where we put our car keys. Altered gamma rhythms in Alzheimer's disease are due in part to the toxic accumulation of a SNP protein called amyloid beta, resulting in fewer neurons firing in synchrony. Research from the lab of Director Li Wei-Sai of the Picower Institute for Learning and Memory at MIT has sought to understand how Alzheimer's disease affects gamma rhythms in the brain, under the premise that abnormal neuronal firing populations play a key role in the symptoms of the disease. First, Dr. Tsai's team established that the gamma rhythm amplitude at the 40 Hz range was reduced in mice with Alzheimer's disease, called 5X FAD mice. More specifically, the gamma rhythm was significantly decreased in a brain region crucial for learning and memory, the hippocampus. The diminished gamma rhythm in 5X FAD mice occurred with the accumulation of amyloid beta, which eventually becomes toxic and results in neuronal death and memory loss. Next, researchers in her lab used optogenetics to artificially correct the gamma rhythm in the hippocampus of 5X FAD Alzheimer's mice. By stimulating neurons in the 40 Hz range at the optimal gamma rhythm amplitude, Dr. Tsai's lab showed that amyloid beta levels were cut nearly in half. Dr. Tsai's team discovered that the 40 Hz optogenetic stimulation to correct the gamma rhythm in Alzheimer's mice activated genes in brain cells called microglia. Microglia are part of the brain's immune system and function, in part, to ingest or clear away microorganisms that might cause disease. Optogenetic stimulation at the 40 Hz range activated microglia to promote the clearance of amyloid beta. To create an effective treatment in humans with Alzheimer's disease, it's ideal to invent a non-invasive technique. To this end, Li-Hui Tsai and her team created a sensory paradigm that uses flickering light to restore the gamma rhythm and to reduce the levels of amyloid beta. 5X FAD Alzheimer's mice were exposed to 40 Hz flickering light, which caused enhanced gamma rhythm neuronal activity and reduced amyloid beta levels by over 50% in the visual cortex. In addition, the 40 Hz flickering light treatment caused microglia in Alzheimer's mice to become more active and dramatically increase in size by engulfing amyloid beta. When the gamma flickering light treatment was used in older Alzheimer's mice with toxic levels of amyloid beta, which results in aggregates called plaques, the plaques decreased. However, for the plaque levels to remain low, the flickering light treatment had to be given over several days versus hours. This unique, non-invasive approach might lead to the development of treatments that can affect the disease without the current pharmacological challenges of the blood-brain barrier or unexpected drug interactions. This technique is a big step in finding new and effective treatments for Alzheimer's disease that one day may halt and reverse the symptoms of a disease that impacts so many of us.
Wow.
And there it is.
Wow.
Now that's from 2016. Someone hasn't made light goggles yet? I mean, so disclosure is more than just space, it's everything. I mean, and my friend Rat X will tell you that in 1972, Richard Nixon changed the paradigm of healthcare so that you could now profit from healthcare. Prior to 72, you could not profit from healthcare. So I think that's part of our problem. It looks like Jake had to scoot. Thanks for calling in, Jake. Appreciate you being here. Oh yeah, I think somebody might have just passed away in my upstairs apartment. Oh my God. He left a little note here, Jake Waters. I have to go. I think someone might have passed away in my upstairs apartment. Oh, that's sad. Well, let's pray for that person. I hope that they're okay.
You know,
Yeah, I hope so.
the only experience I ever had that I recall was the night before my mother's funeral back in '94. And it was like 3 a.m. I was sitting in my mom's living room floor, and I was crying and just praying uncontrollably. And suddenly I felt like a hand, no one was there, on my right shoulder, and the most calming, blissful, love feeling came over me.
Hmm.
I was so shaken by that, happily shaken, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
I went and woke up my now he's my ex-husband at the time, and I said, I've been asking for a sign for 30 years. I said I went from asking for a sign to knowing that God is real, that we are loved, very loved. And I will never forget that. And I felt it go through my entire body. I felt a hand on my right shoulder,
Hmm.
and
Wow.
that's the only thing that I can recall, other than my imaginary friend. so, but so death, I learned a long time ago. I lost my daughter 2 years ago.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. But I almost believe that this life for me was to deal with loss and trauma.
Hmm.
It was if your soul has a goal or an experience, that was a goal. And I took it so much better. Believe it or not, I took it so much better than when I lost my mother, because I had just turned 30 when I lost my mom.
Hmm.
And so I know that my daughter is in the most blissful, loving, and she's so loved.
Hmm.
I know she's fine. I know that. In my heart, I know that. And it's funny, when my mother stopped breathing, I was in Maryland. I lived in Maryland at the time. And my mom was in St. Louis. And I had an urgent feeling to call my mother. And that's how I found out my mom had stopped breathing.
Oh my,
That feeling to call.
the connection. Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, why didn't I know that with my daughter? And she was so much like me. Loved scary movies, loved sci-fi, the whole thing. And our birthdays were 2 days apart.
Oh my.
And she I didn't know. And I'm like, how did I not know? And I know that we cry for our loss, what we're losing. We will no longer see them.
Mhm.
That they are in a place we can't even imagine, that's so beautiful and so loved. They are so loved.
Mhm.
They are no longer in any pain or
Mhm.
suffering. So
Yeah, and there definitely is life after. I mean, there is something after, because I did leave my body once in '84, and at the time I didn't believe in spirituality or anything like that. I was a scientific evolutionist, and here I was leaving my body, and it was just freaky. It freaked me out, and it changed me. It made me not afraid of death, really. So, um,
it changes you forever. When I I completely believe you. It was an awakening for you.
mhm.
Your awakening.
Oh yeah, it's it took me years to kind of work through it because it was very shocking. But yeah, it's spectacular. I mean, I came out of my belly and I was a round ball, and I could see in all directions, and it was just
Wow,
freaky. I mean, super clear vision in all directions simultaneously. It's
that's amazing.
yeah, it's it was the freakiest thing that ever happened to me. But it did make me not fear death, and so yeah, it's
Enlightening. Mm.
and when we're born, it's it's a miracle that we're even born, because there's what, like a billion different possible people, right, in every single attempt, and only one makes it through. Any other sperm would make a different person. I mean, so the people who make it here, even if it is only a short time, it's still like an amazing miracle. Just amazing miracle that they made it from that, you know.
I had a soul reading with Simon Park, December 2nd,
Okay.
and he told me that my soul was 3/4 Palladian and 1/4 upper fourth dimensional Orion.
Okay.
And he was very amused because he said, "You have a connection to water." Well, I'm a Pisces. I learned to swim underwater. I was swimming underwater before I could swim on top of water.
Uh-huh.
And then I was in the Navy, and he was just laughing. And but he did share something with me. When he moves here to the States, he will be working closely with our military. Um, he said, "I'm going to be doing something like what you did in the Navy." And I found that to be very interesting. And if you follow him, I don't know if anyone does, but he said he recently signed a non-disclosure agreement.
Okay.
A lot of things that he won't mention any longer in his updates. And but it was very. But he said, "I came here for fun and adventure."
Hmm.
That I asked to come here. I asked to be born, or
Okay.
for fun and adventure. And I just turned. It's not just a job, it's an adventure, So there was a lot of synchronicity in that with me, and I'm sure you're seeing it everywhere. I'm getting numerical, 3
Yeah.
1s, 3 2s,
Yeah.
all the time, numerous times a day.
Yeah.
So
I looked at the clock today and it was 5:55. It's like, wow,
Mhm.
interesting.
so
It's always 2:22 or 3:33 all
So-
the time.
all the time, and I'm sure everyone who's watching right now probably has the same thing happen if they paid attention to it. If they
Hmm.
would note that mentally, oh, I just saw 111 or 555, and synchronicity in numbers. So I just think of that as you're on the right path spiritually. So just keep going.
I hope I don't get in trouble for playing that MIT video, but it's for educational purposes. I mean, it's something we should all know. I mean, don't you think everyone should know about that?
I do.
And that's from 2016. That's a long time ago already now.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I don't know if you noticed, but underneath it, it said they've had more success in that. And there's a link to another video, presumably a newer video. Maybe you review that for next time and see if there's anything worthwhile in the update.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't notice that. Interesting. Yeah. What else are they discovering that's just being kept out of the media? They've got so much more important things to put in the media, like, drag queen story time at the library,
Oh yeah, they'll spend 4 days on Beyonce's baby bump, but something that could be healing people, they won't even touch it.
I'm so glad I don't have TV anymore. So everybody, I've made this plea before, or suggestion, to do the TV art challenge. So you get yourself a canvas or a piece of board or something that's the size or a little bit bigger than your TV, and make some art and do something cool, or even if it isn't cool, and then put it in front of your TV and leave it there. And if you get sick of it, make another piece of art so you can put that in front of the other one. Then you can switch them. And every time you get the urge to watch TV, just watch the art. And before you know it, you'll be happy as a lark, and you won't be worried about Beyonce's toe blisters or whatever they're talking about.
I miss Animal Planet. That's about the only thing I miss.
Well,
I loved Animal Planet, that channel. But because I don't watch TV, I haven't had a TV in years. So
yeah, I remember when I lost my TV service, I thought to myself, well, maybe I'm not supposed to watch TV. Besides, there was no channel around me that was rerunning Gilligan anyway. So I got the DVDs. See, now I can watch it anytime I want.
I love Star Trek.
Oh yeah,
now I'm talking
I
about
got Star Trek. I got Gilligan's Island. I got all the important ones. Like Green Acres. All the really.
I won't sing the theme. I love that show though. Growing up, Yeah, because you're only a couple years older than I am.
Oh yeah.
I graduated in '82.
Okay, I graduated in '80. Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
really- And
yeah.
when I need to pick me up, do you know what I watch?
What do you watch?
Elvis Presley's "If I Can Dream" from the
Mm,
'68 comeback special.
beautiful song.
Oh, always cheers me up and puts my heart
Oh,
and mind in the right place.
it's still so um, uh, so current now. I mean, you could play that right now, and it has so much meaning.
We have
And
go ahead.
people were not expecting a message song from Elvis like that. They weren't. They weren't. And did you know that '68 comeback special was supposed to be a Christmas special?
No, I didn't know that. I know that Martin Luther King and I think it was Bobby Kennedy had just been assassinated, or not too long before, but I
Hmm.
did hear that he curled up into a fetal position after singing that.
Unbelievable. Yeah, very sad. America died that day. Those two days.
Oh,
But when Elvis came onto the set, the director was, they were talking about the show, and Elvis just didn't seem like he was into it. And the director said, what's the matter, Elvis? Is there anything we can do to make it better for you here? He goes, well, I just don't want to do this. He goes, what do you want to do? He goes, I don't want to do this. He goes, well, we can do anything you want to do. He goes, really? He goes, yeah, you can do anything you want to do. He goes, okay. And so the '68 comeback special really was Elvis's idea. He wanted to do gospel songs. He wanted to do like these skits, and he wanted to do that song, "If I Can Dream," which I think if you look at the whole performance, he put the most into that song. And he was like wailing on that, just really wailing. He was completely exhausted after that song. He really put it all in there. And, like you said, it's just a beautiful, beautiful song. And I would play that, but I'd probably get docked.
yeah, the 45 of that. Oh, so many albums
Mhm.
growing up, and from my older sister, and then I have another one that's 3 years older, and she was the big Elvis fan. But when they announced his death, I had been watching cartoons, and I was in seventh grade, and they broke in
Mhm.
'77, and they put, the Elvis Presley had just died,
Yeah.
and I felt that was so important. I wrote it down, and I had a Korean jewelry box my brother had given to me as a birthday present, and I
Mhm.
wrote down Elvis died today, and what was his name from who you hosted Nightline with the red Ted Koppel.
Ted Koppel, he was a great guy. I like Ted Koppel.
He was doing a special that night on Elvis. Pre-cable days, in case anyone's wondering, there was no cable.
Right, no cable.
Yeah, there was no cable in St. Louis, so that
Um,
was neat. I knew it was, but
yeah, 1977. There is a conspiracy theory about that Elvis is still alive, and um, the one that I think has the most credibility is the Dr. Hinton story. Have you heard that?
I have it. Dark Brain, have you?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh, it looks like Jake Waters is back. Yeah, Dr. Hinton was a psychologist or psychiatrist, and he had a client named Jesse Presley
Interesting.
for years.
Brother.
And one day, Jesse Presley admitted to Dr. Hinton, actually, I was Elvis. And he was living his life based on numerology towards the end. And the numbers were saying he had to die on that day. And if you look at the outfit he wore, the so-called sundial, it's like a big round yellow sun, almost like a Aztec sun. But it's got like 16 points on it. And it symbolizes the date he died, the 16th of August, 1977. So it was like the whole design was that date symbolized through geometry.
Freemasons.
And that he gave like an 8-page handwritten note to Dr. Hinton. It's all in Elvis's handwriting. He gave him a bunch of jewelry, and he gave him a picture of himself with Elvis's grandson on his lap. And here's this white-haired guy, no shirt, wearing shorts. He has this little 2 or 3-year-old kid on his lap. He's on a riding lawnmower, and he has this crazy white hair. And I thought, boy, that doesn't look like Elvis. But then I found a picture of Elvis from 1976, year before he died, in the same exact angle. And I overlaid those pictures, and oh my gosh, it was him. It looked like him. So yeah. And he said that he just knew that if he kept living as Elvis, he was going to die. And his twin brother never got to live. So he wanted to live the rest of his life as his twin brother, who never had a life.
I think his name was Jesse too, right?
Jesse Garin Presley. Yep. And actually, his first name was Elvis. And when that baby died, they switched the first names.
Wow.
Because Elvis was Vernon Presley's middle name, Vernon Elvis Presley. So he wanted his son, the one that lived, to carry his first name. So they had to switch the names of the 2 babies after the first one died. But I wonder if that first one died, or maybe, they were very poor. Maybe they put it up for adoption,
There's a movie about that.
that they put it up for adoption, or that they,
There's a, who's in it? James Franco, Satanist guy. I think he's in it.
I didn't see it.
Where there's a contest or something, and somebody had put up or gave away their baby to be raised, and he finds out later in life. Do you know which movie I'm talking about?
No.
He makes it as a singer, and he ends up finding out that he had a twin brother, and he was given away because they were poor, and the one that raised the one that I believe James Franco was in it, whom I don't care for because he's a Satanist, but what is it? I just watched it recently. It's on YouTube, by the way.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of it, but it literally goes into what you were just saying. Did they put them up for adoption or give them away, the twin, because they were poor? Because that was during the
they were poor. They were dirt poor, for sure.
Many people don't know that he was born in Mississippi, I believe. Very, very poor family.
Tupelo, Mississippi. Yeah.
Right.
Mississippi. Yeah.
I love watching reactions to In the Ghetto and If I Can Dream videos. Some of these young people, they just had no clue that, they just thought, Elvis Presley, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As someone who's seen all its movies, from my favorites, Tickle Me and Flaming Star, by the way.
Flaming Star?
I love Flaming Star.
Great movie. That one year, I think it was 1968, all of us kids, I had 2 brothers, we each got an Elvis album. And mine was a picture of Elvis on the cover in the cowboy hat, I think from that movie. But it wasn't the album for the movie.
And I'm sure you did for Aloha from Hawaii because that was a big deal back then when it was done via satellite around the world. Aloha from Hawaii. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. Did you know that the world saw that before America did, 3 months before?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they were worried that something was going to happen. They didn't want Elvis to flub up live. So they let the world see it, 1 billion people. And then 3 months later, America saw it, but America thought they were seeing it live, but they weren't.
I was fooled.
I was too. We were all fooled, but that's before the internet, you know? Okay, I found this quote, I think, in the truth movement. This is very apropos. Truth is like the sun. You can shut it out for a time, but it ain't going away. Elvis Presley. Yeah, the truth is like the sun. See? They're not going to be able to hold this for very long.
I don't
Or
believe
Nice.
the girls. My mom saw him in concert in the 50s,
really?
and she said that he kissed a girl on her cheek, and she's like, "I'm never washing my face again." And my mom thought that was so ridiculous that
That's cute.
she didn't want to wash her face because Elvis kissed her. But I thought that was funny.
Well, I made a meme, and I hope you like this meme. And since we're talking about Elvis, we'll show you this. What do you think about this one? The wonder of Q.
Uh,
Quest, a Truth Quest meme. Gotta love it.
that's cute. I love it.
That is
Yeah.
great.
Thanks, man. Yeah, good old Peppy. He rocks. So I had to make him, had to put him in the jumpsuit. I also I paint and draw Elvis too. I don't know if anyone knows that, but I'm trying to find him here. Okay, here's one. Here's one. It's a watercolor, and this is what it looks like. It's pretty big. It's in my living room.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it took a while to do. It's pretty big, and it was fun though. I did a bunch of art, and what I did was I make printouts, and I give them away for trivia questions at my shows, and I sell them.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I like drawing and painting, and watercolor is fun. I love watercolor. It's just got it's such a neatness to it. I don't know. It's fun. I like it. I like watercolor. And let's see here.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That the hair looks like a photo. That's like it's hard to do in watercolors, but man, that looked like photorealistic.
Thank
feel like-
you. Thank
like
you
I've
very much.
Hair somewhere before.
You what?
I feel like I've seen that hair somewhere before.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting that you mentioned that, because when I was doing the painting, I was roughing in the hair kind of quickly, and I was looking at the photo, I was doing this, and all of a sudden I stopped and I went, wow, it kind of looks good like that. And I looked at the picture and it's like, but it doesn't look like the picture. But I looked at it again, I thought, you know what? I'm leaving it, because sometimes when you're painting, it's knowing when to quit. Knowing when to quit is the big thing. So I stuck with it, and it was it worked. I think it worked. But yeah, I like that. Now here's actually a picture of me. All right, as Elvis. I don't know if you can see it or not.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Heck yeah.
That was a fun photo shoot. It was at a photo place, and they didn't have a mirror there, right? They didn't have a mirror, and they took a bunch of pictures, and I looked at them. I went, oh man, I need more shadows in there. Can we turn off some of these lights? So we turned off a bunch of the lights. I wanted some shadowing, and then I asked if anybody had a mirror, and a woman had like a compact mirror. So I like looking the compact at myself. Okay, I'll throw the compact. Okay, take it now. So it was.
My sister would fall in love with you, I swear. She was a real big Elvis fan. I mean, I was too, but she was really big. She's a real big Elvis fan. She would love that.
Well, yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be Elvis. I mean, if you could be anybody, be Elvis for sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jake, give us an update on your neighbor.
I don't really want to bring down the good mood, but
Okay.
I don't know. I think there might have been a drug overdose upstairs,
Oh my goodness.
and yeah,
Oh,
about six squad cars. That's why I jumped off the Zoom call. Is there was like 6 squad cars outside and an ambulance and a fire truck, and I ran outside and looked, and I talked to an officer for a minute, and yeah, that's what it sounded like. They were pulling out Narcan, and as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, that sounds like a drug overdose to me. But yeah,
did you bring your donuts out and offer them a donut?
no, they looked very busy.
Oh my goodness. Well, I hope
But they
that
probably could have used one at the end of the night.
I bet they could. Yeah. Well, I hope that everything works out. But you think
Well,
it's fatal?
if they were pulling out that Narcan, that means there must have been, it wasn't over till it's over. So they must have thought there was some hope to do something. And that Narcan works. Like I've known people that have come across people that were seemingly gone, and they give them that Narcan, and it sure enough reverses the effects of opioids, and that can bring somebody right out of that. So
Opioids. Why would anyone take something called an opioid? It sounds like a stupid thing to take, right?
it grips people, man. They do it once, and they're pretty well hooked. A lot of people.
Wow. I'm so glad. I hate taking pills. I mean, I had kidney stones, and they gave me this Clotoric or something. It was like it incapacitated you. I mean, who would take that? I mean, you can't even hardly walk. I mean, why would you want to do that? I don't know. So I only took like one of those pills. I didn't take any more. I had a rotator cuff, actually both shoulders, and I never took anything for the pain. And it's extremely painful. But pain is my friend. It never leaves me. Like my best friend. So pills cause ills. So I try not to take pills. Pills cause ills. And so I try to just muddle through the pain. So I will never be one of those people that is into pain pills.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that. I broke my ankle once, and they prescribed me Norcos, I believe. And yeah, they didn't really stop the pain. They just made me feel like woozy, and I don't know. It made me kind of sleepy, but it didn't really stop the actual pain. I was
Right.
trying to describe to somebody what the pain was like of breaking your ankle, and I was like, well, gravity hurt. Like I couldn't like sit in one spot without gravity pulling me enough that it didn't feel good.
Wow.
And these drugs that they were giving me weren't helping. And surprisingly, one of the best things was like just simple ibuprofen over the counter that stopped the swelling. Swelling seems to be the biggest amount of pain that I was getting from any kind of break or fracture or serious pain.
Wow. Ouch.
Well,
I went off all opiates. I was on morphine sulfate from the VA for 15 years, 17 years,
Morphine.
and Vicodin. At one point, I was taking 200 milligrams of morphine at night and 190 during the day
Whoa.
for back pain. I had 4 high-speed car accidents when I lived in Maryland. 4 in a 2-year period, and I didn't cause any of them. And my back was hurting the second one, and then of course the third and fourth.
Oh
But
my God.
I went off. I went off all by myself. When I lost my daughter, I needed body, mind, spirit connection of clarity, seriously, to deal with that. So
Mm-hmm.
narcotics for a long time, opiates, and
Oh.
mind over matter. I had quit smoking years ago, so I already knew mind over matter, you know.
Good for you.
But
Yeah.
in kratom, believe it or not, if anyone knows anyone that takes opiates or heroin, anything like that, kratom really helped with the craving, because I didn't go through, you know, an outpatient clinic or inpatient clinic to go off. I just, like I said, I needed clarity. So, but when you're on that for that many years, and I went to the VA, it's a pain clinic, and I said, I'm tired of being a zombie. You know, it makes moving around and doing daily things much easier, but you don't feel like doing anything because you're, you know, and it takes a long time to build up to that kind of tolerance too. So,
Wow.
but
Wow.
yeah, kratom really did help. And from what I understand, a lot of veterans use kratom for PTSD
Mm-hmm.
and other things, because it goes to the same sensors in your brain that opiates do.
Mm-hmm.
It tells them, "Oh, here's your narcotic," but it's non-narcotic. It's a tree grown in Indochina area, Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
Crumble it up, make it into a powder, and you basically can put it in capsules. I have a capsule maker, and then I also use the what do you call those? So, like a something like rice paper, little disc. You can make like little burritos. It make it, oh, I'm telling you, kratom really does help if you know anyone who has a problem who's trying to go off in narcotics.
Okay.
It really helps.
Interesting.
I would also make sure everybody knows kratom can also be highly addictive too. It is truly the only alternative to opioids, and it's a very natural alternative, and it's way better than being on pills. But it is also a dangerous compound for some people if you have an addictive personality or something like that. But yeah, there's several different strains of kratom that you can get. There's a white vein kratom, and a red strain, I believe, red vein strain kratom, and one's for pain relief, and one makes you a little more active. And I feel like there's people that take them in different ways. It's also, there's people that do it like raw. They just get the ground up kratom itself and just put it into their drink and just have it as a regular drink. I've tried it before. It does cause euphoria and help you with pain relief, but I also think it can be an addictive substance if led the wrong way.
Yeah. I have a friend who's putting herself into treatment for kratom, or kratom. So
I just stopped taking that. No longer needed. I mean, I still have my back always hurts 24/7, but I had no problem stopping. And kratom was very expensive too. It worked great with CBD oil, but you know,
and by the way, none of this is meant as medical advice. We're just talking about.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like,
So I think we need to say something like that. I think I just did.
help me.
We're just chatting. We're not doctors. We're not advising anything to anybody. We're just talking about different things that people have experienced. It's sad that you have to actually say something like that. You know, we're just talking, right?
Oh, I know. I agree. I'm sorry. I should have.
That's okay. That's okay. We shouldn't have to tiptoe when speaking in America anyway. I mean, we shouldn't have to tiptoe around.
I agree with that.
Well, folks, I think this went longer than I had expected it to go. I certainly thank everybody that came here.
Thank you, Aaron. Yeah,
You're
thanks for letting me join in and letting me have some of your time. Appreciate it.
Anytime, Dark Brain. I really appreciate you being in the chat and helping out. You're always asking, is everything comfy in here? And I think, yeah, we do have a really good, let's see, disclaimer. Yeah. I only play a doctor on TV. Right. Yeah. Well, and it's after midnight, so I haven't heard any UFOs at my window here yet. No big announcement yet, so we'll keep you posted. Thank you, everybody, for coming here and calling in and having such a nice conversation. Happy rest of your weekend and the week to come. I hope you all have a good time. The latest episode with Andrew should be out in the next couple days at the most. So look for that. And also next Sunday with Andrew, and we'll probably do another one of these pop-up shows. So peace in.
Thank you.
Thank you.